Hey guys, welcome to this second part of this section. So in this section we'll be getting the dart SDK. So I'll be going to the website now to download the dart SDK. So once you are here, click on the get dart. So over here now you can see so many contents being given to you. So just scroll down, don't worry about that, and just leave this as it is. Don't worry about it. So for those who are using Windows, this installation is meant for you. So I'm going to dedicate a new setup for the Mac OS. So for Windows user, use this version. So for those who don't have SDK, the data SDK installed on its system, so you can use this command to get it done on your system. But for me, I already have that SDK, so I'll be using this command to upgrade my dat SDK version. So without further ado, kindly run this if you don't have if you don't have that SDK, and if you do, run this to update your dat SDK. Okay, now let's open our command line and type and input this command to update my dat, or if you are installing dat afresh, so you can use this command to do the same thing. So let me zoom in my screen, so it might get too tiny. Okay, so I will hide that, click on my start button, then I will search for CMD. So do the same thing, search for CMD. So once you find CMD, run it as administrator, click on yes, and over here you can find this pop-up box on my screen. So here is where I'm going to input this upgrade CLI into. And if you are running on a new dat SDK version, so I advise you to use this stop command line to install the dat SDK. Yeah, good. So I'm going to do this now. Yeah, so shoko space upgrade dat. Okay, shoko space upgrade, then upgrade what? Dat -SDK. Yeah, dat -SDK, enter. So you can do the same and install dat if you don't have dat already, and if you have dat already, do this to upgrade your dat. Yeah, we are doing good. So since my dat is updated to the latest version, so this just do a little patch, so I'm up to date with the latest version. So if you are downloading fresh, it might take a while, so just hold while the download is being processed to you. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. Then after that, you can go now and run the command line as a user to test if the dat is working fine. So I'm going to run this command. Let me zoom in my screen so you can see what I'm typing. So I'm going to use dat space dash version, so to check if that is working for all your users on your computer. So enter the key, and as you can see, it says dat SDK version 2.15.1. so as at the time I'm recording this video, my dat version is 2.1. so by the time you'll be using this video tutorial, yours might be higher than this, but it's still the same process. So thank you for watching this second part of this section. So in the next part, we are going to be working on how to install it on Mac OS. Thank you so much for this. Bye. Guys, welcome again to this new lesson. In this lesson, you are going to be learning how to install dat into your Mac OS. So to do so, to get started, just click on your get dat. Click on your get dat and scroll down to where you have Mac OS. So in case you did not have Homebrew installed, so you can install Homebrew. Let me show you where it is. So this is Homebrew's, as you can see. So you just copy this command, you click on copy and you paste it in your terminal. But for me, I already have Homebrew on my PC, on my computer rather, on my Mac OS. So what I will just do is I will run this command. So let me copy this first command. So to do that, I'm going to run my terminal. So paste it in my terminal, press enter. So it's going to it's going to download the dat for me. So that is downloading some configuration for that language support. Then later we're going to install that. So depends on your network, this might take some little time to run. So I'm going to pause this video here and I'm going to resume once it's finished downloading. Yeah. So this is done installing. Then the next thing we need to now do now is to install that. So I'm going to copy this now, go back to the terminal. Then let me clear the terminal so it should look more clean. Okay, so I will paste what I just copied. Brew install what? Install that. So now let me also pause this video while this is downloading, because it's a very big file, so it might take a while. Okay. Hey guys, now the that has been installed, so we are going to now run our first test using that. So before I do that, I'm going to create a folder in my file manager. So I'm going to go to my file manager now, my finder. So over here I'm going to create a new folder on my desktop. Let me create on my desktop. I think my desktop is, it's more cool to do that. So I'm going to go to file, new folder, testing that. Testing that. The inside testing that folder, I want to open it using VS Code. Now I'm going to use my two hands to click on this to bring out the options. Then open what? Open. It should be open folder in VS Code. So okay, that is not connected yet. Okay, it's not connected yet. So in case you have it, you can open it, but mine is not connected yet. So I'm gonna have to open VS Code manually. So I'm going to type VS Code. So I'll open that and I'm going to open this folder. Okay, so I'm going to go to file, open folder, go to file, open folder. Okay, what folder did I want to open? Go to desktop, test that, then open test that. Okay, so the rest of the folder I already have, I'm going to close that, which is this guy here. Close this, then close the other one. Let me close the other one. I think that's all. No, okay, yeah, that's all. So I've closed all those ones, so we are only left with this one now. Okay, so in this folder I'm going to create a new file called main.dat. So in this main.dat we are going to have our void, our main method, our main method. Then inside our main method I'm going to have a print. I'm working. Okay, so let's see if it's going to work. So I'm going to use Ctrl J to bring up my terminal. Then inside my terminal I'm going to say that main.dat. Now as you can see, it says what I'm working. Let me also try another one. So print 30 plus my symbol is okay, 30 times 3. My symbol is mismatching itself. Okay, 30 times 3. Let's check it out. As you can see, 90. So this is working. This is working as expected. Okay, so thank you so much for taking your time to watch this lesson. The next one we're going to be looking into more advanced lessons to learn. Okay, so thank you so much once again. If you have any question, just a comment down below in the comment section. Thank you. Bye. Hello, welcome to this new section. In this section, you are going to be learning everything you need to know to get started with that programming language. What is that? That is an open source general purpose programming language which is originated, developed by Google and later approved as a standard by HECMA. That is a new programming language. Yes, it is a new programming language for the server for the server as well as the browser, which is the client side. The SDK also includes a utility that is .gs, a transpiler that generates JavaScript equivalent of that script. Okay, to move forward, we are going to be testing that code on that part, which is the live compiler, and also we are going to be testing it on our local since we already installed it on our device. But I'm going to show you how to run it on the live server, which is the dat part. Okay, so to do that, I will head down to either dat.dev and clicking on try that, either using this part, or better still you go to dat part. So I click on that part. Now my dat part is coming up. Okay, so you go to that part. So from here you can also try or play with your code. So over here now we can decide to do that. Now to get started, you have to know, or let it be at the back of your mind, that for every dat code to work, for every dat code to run, or for every dat code to move, it has to pass through an entry point, which is this main method. This main method, it is very, very important to pass through your sub files or your sub queries. It is very necessary it pass through the main area. Okay, so let's take out everything that we have here and let's start all over. So I'm going to take this out now. So we want to print hello. So if I run this now, it shows nothing, everything is empty. So I'm going to run a method of the main, which is the void, returning void response in the main method. So I'm going to return a void, then pointing it as a main. Okay, so over here now, that is going to sense it that okay, main method is defined, which is the entry point, and everything we write into the query of the main method is going to run as it is designed. Okay, so over here now I'm going to ask the system to print hello, print hello. Now I run that. Now we should have something. As you can see, we have what? Hello. So let's print what should we print? Okay, 2 times 3. Close your statement, run. We should have that also. As you can see, 2 times 3, which is 6. So everything will work as you are writing it, as long as it is inside the main method. It's very, very important. It has to be in the main method. Now we have hello, we have 6, and we also have what? 23. Now we are going to move further now down to our VS Code area, which is not the live server, which is not the dat part. So we are going to be using our local machine to do the printing and to define the main method that we are returning the void response to the main method. Okay, so we're going to do that now. So I'm going to close this tab. Let me leave the home page as it is. Go back to my main area, which is main.dat. So you create a new folder. I created a new folder, dat projects. Then I have this file, main.dat. So let me start all over. I'll take out this file so it will not be confused. So you will not be confused about the file. Now, as you can see, I have no file in my directory. So I'm going to create a new file now, a new file called main.dat. So why did I name this main.dat? Why can't we have random title.dat? No, it is not advisable to do something like that. It is very important to have main.dat. Main.dat is very, very important, which will stand as your entering 5 points. And also inside the main.dat, you also need to have the void main, just as I've explained to you on the dat part. It is very important to have your main method returning the void of the response, and inside your main method you can run any query at all inside this place and it's going to work. Then you can start extending the main method. Okay, so inside this main method now, what do we want to do? I want to run the same print I ran on the dart part. So to do that, I'm going to use the print again. So print hello world. Yeah, that is my GitHub Copilot. So if you have, is a benefit for you. So here I have what print hello world. So if I run this file now, I will bring out my terminal. So to bring out the terminal is very simple. Is either you click on run. Sorry. Okay. I normally use shortcuts a lot. Okay, awesome. It's at the menu size because of my screen is very zoom. So let me zoom out. Okay, which I believe you are going to see that on your system. So as you can see, we have the terminal here. So you can create a new terminal. But I normally use Ctrl J, and if you are using a MacBook, you can use Command J. So that should bring out your terminal. But if it is not working for you, click on New Terminal, and this should come up for you. Then you can delete some terminal or close the terminal all the way from here. So once you have this terminal up, you can decide to use Command J to take it out, Command J to bring it back. Very cool. I love using shortcuts a lot. Okay, once we have our code written and we want to run the main.dat, so I'm going to point to it main. So I'm going to say that the main.dat. Okay, run. Now as you can see, I have hello world. So we are going to use this prefix that with space and the file of the directory we are running, which is this main.dat. Then we have our hello world. So the next thing I need to do now is to pass the number that I added in. So 2 multiplied by 3. Okay, close the statement, save it, and run it again. As you can see, we have hello world, and we also have 6. So the next one I want to add now, print 23. Okay, so print 23. So now we printed a string data type here. We also print multiplication along with an integer, and here is a O integer or true. So now I save that now, and I'm going to run it. So as you can see, we have hello world, we have 6, we have 23. So this is just an introduction on how that programming language work. So stay tuned and move on with the course, move on with the lessons, then get the best out of it. Thank you so much for taking your time to take this one. Bye, see you in the next one. Hello, welcome to this new series in this section, which is that comment. So what is that comment? That comments are the set of statements that are ignored by the Dart compiler during the program execution. Oh yes, so if you have a comment, the compiler is not going to run your program. It's not going to run the particular section of the comment in the program. That is what this the definition simply means. It is used to enhance the readability of the source code. Yeah, so your colleagues or your partner that you are writing the code together, they can easily catch up with where you are or where you stop. Generally, comment gives a brief idea, just as I've stated, the brief idea of the code, that like what is happening in the code. Yeah, so we can describe the working of the variables, the function, the classes, or any statement that exists in the code. Programmers should use the comment for a better practice. Like me, I normally use comment a lot. There are 3 types of comments in that. Oh yes, we have the single line comments, the multi-line comments, and the documentation comments. What is the single line comment? In single line comments, we can apply comments on a single line by using the double slash. The single line comment can be applied onto a line break. So you might not understand what I defined here until I practicalize that. So let me do some practical on this single line comment. So I'm going to head on to my VS Code now. So to do the single line comment, this is what I meant by that. I point the cursor to the beginning of the code in this line 2. You see this line, and I'm going to add / twice. So // that is what double / as you can see, it's a what double what slash, which is what forward slash. So this double slash is added in this line 2. The entire line 2 has been captured as a what, as a comment. As I said, it's a what, we can apply comment on a single line by using the what double slash, which is what I added. The single line comments can be applied until a line what, a line break. That is, if I enter a new line, the comment is gone. That is what is simply what it simply means, nothing more. So that is how single what, single line comments work, which is what the first one. So the second one is multi-line what comment. Sometimes we need to apply comments on a multi-lines, then it can be done using what forward slash, just single forward slash with a star, then we close it in what, in vice versa. So to do that, we're going to what, I'm going to use this one to do the test. So I'm going to start from the beginning, forward slash with star, then at the end of this place, star forward slash. So this comment is over. If I print something here now, it's going to print well. It's going to what, it's going to print. So let me print this where now, and let's see if it's going to print. So I'm going towards run main.dat. As you can see, we have what, well. So I'm printing this well after we've commented with single line comments and the multi-line comments. Awesome. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. The next one is what, documentation comments. This documentation comment is actually meant for developers who are writing plugins or packages, but you can also take advantage of it. So this documentation comment comes with 3/. So with the use of 3/, the compiler will recognize it as what, documentation comment. So to do that, you are going to pass it like this. So 1 2 3, then you write this is fun. So everything you write here is not going to print as well, just as we tested the first and the second one. Look at it now. We have what, where this is not what printed out. This is what's awesome. This is fantastic. So thank you so much for taking your time to watch this comment series. So see you in the next section. Bye. Hey guys, welcome to this section. In this section, we're going to be starting our new project. So I'll be going to my file manager now. Under my file manager, I'm going to create a new folder that my that development is going to be. So you can also do the same thing. So I already have a folder in my disk drive. So I will click on the that folder. So in this folder, I'm going to create a new folder. So just to make sure I'm specifying the specific folder for my project. So I'm going to call this project. I'm going to call this folder that project. So it's going to be that project. So I will enter it. Then inside the folder, I'm going to open the folder. Then open the folder with VS Code. Now look at the way I did it now. Inside my folder, I enter into the folder. Then inside this folder, I right click. Then I select open with code. So you can also do the same thing. You open the folder with code. So after you open it with code, then you can take out this get started. So let me zoom in my screen. Okay, let me take this a bit down. Okay, now currently my folder is empty. There is nothing in my folder. As you can see, there's nothing here, there's nothing here too. So the first thing now to declare in this place now is to create a new file. A new file called main.dat. Main.dat. As you can see, I created a new file called main.dat. Okay, so after we are done creating this file, so this main.dat file will be our entering point of our application. That is, anytime we are trying to run our code, our entire code, no matter how many files we have, is this main.dat that is going to be called first before the rest will run alongside, just as we have in web development, where we have the index.html, index.php, index.xjxp, just as we have the index. So in that programming language, we use the main.dat as our entry point. Okay, so before we proceed, I will also love you to install some extension yes, some extension on your VS Code that will aid you in the development of our Dart project. So to do that, you can either use Control Shift X, or you use this just navigate to this icon here at the left hand side. As you can see, I'm at the left hand side icon, so you can click on it or use Control Shift E to bring back the file. So I'm going to use Control Shift X, don't forget X. Okay, so Control Shift X, then I'm going to search Dart. So make sure you install this extension, is very important. So install this Dart language support is very important. So click on it and install it. As for me, I have installed it already on my VS Code. So do the same and install the Dart extension, please. Okay, so once you are done with that, close it, then use Control Shift E, or better still, you go to File. So it's very simple to do. So Control Shift E, or you click on what, the Explorer. So you can either use the Explorer or use Control Shift E after you are done installing your extension. Okay, so in this main does that, as I've said earlier, which is our entry point. So for this entry point to be functional, we need a void method to run to make other projects that we are going to be building alongside other files to run. So in this method, that we are going to have a main method which will be our entry point. As you can see, my what's it called, Copilot is trying to pull up some ideas for me, but for now, for those who have Copilots, you can work alongside the way it works, but sometimes it might not give you what you really want, so you can click on escape to ignore what is given to you. Okay, so now we are going to be using void. This void simply means we are returning no value, so we don't have any genuine value to return. So we are going to introduce void, and this main will be our main method, our main what method. Then here we have list with the type of string. So this list with the type of string argument, we are going to take it off because we don't necessarily need to pass argument for now. So take the argument out of the parameter. So in this place now, we are going to be working on the variables. So variables and assignments. So checking the explicit type format and the dynamic type format. Okay, so the very first one to do now is to check the explicit type format. So I'm going to say type format 1, type format 1. So in this type format 1 is going to be string, that is you have to declare, that is the explicit. So let me state it here, explicit. So explicit type. So this explicit type is very like it doesn't tolerate other things, just except the one you declare. So if you say this guy is a string, it has to be a string. If this guy is an integer, it has to be an integer. So let me show you an example on how that works. So for example, now over here, let me close this sidebar. In this place now, we're going to say, okay, string name is equals to what, that. Okay, now if string name is equal to that, it says the value of the local variable name is not used. Okay, try removing the variable using it. Okay, so what it means is that this variable name now, we declared it but we did not use it, as you can see, but it's not being used. That's just the Dart checking. So just once you see blue underline, don't worry yourself. So it might be tricky sometimes, but relax and calm down. Okay, so string name equals to what, that. It can be anything. So it can be your name, Adele. It can be anything, Adele Ayodije. Okay, so string name is equals to what, that. Sorry, it's equals to Adele Ayodije. Now this name now is our value, which is string. As you can see, explicit. So explicit simply means whenever we declare a name as string, we cannot change it to integer. We cannot change it to double or any other data types that we want to change it to. So once it's string, it will be string forever. Okay, so let me try to override this name to an integer. So I'm going to say name is equals to 20. As you can see, there's an error. It says a value of type int can be assigned to a variable type of what? Of string. Try changing the type of the variable or casting the right hand type to string. You know, this is amazing. Whenever you have an error, the that error checker is going to give you an hint on what you are having issue with, so you can quickly use the quick fix or fix it manually. So let me try to use the quick fix. Let's see what is going to add. As you can see, it say return this 20 as what? As a string. This is amazing. Like, this is great. Okay, now let's try to return this as a string, and we are not going to be getting any error. So name, now let's try to change this name to what? To daily. Now as you can see, now it has no issue. It accepted it as string because it is what? Explicit format. So whenever you are using an explicit format that is stating your variable as a particular data type, is going to give you an issue when you are changing it to other data type in explicit formats. So this is a string data type. String data type. Now in string data type, how do we print it? So now let's do the printing. Let me delete this so that we can go to the real work that we have in this place. So I'm going to open up my my console. So Ctrl J. If you don't see that on your Ctrl J, you can click on view. Sorry, I think it's go. No, sorry, terminal. Click on terminal, then new terminal. So once you click on terminal, then you click on what? New terminal. The terminal is going to open up based on your what? Project folder. As you can see, this is my project folder. That's project. Okay, so in this place now, we are going to specify our file name. As you can see now, we have main.dat in this place. So I'm going to say dat space main dot what? Dat. Now as you can see, we don't have anything to run because we are not what? Printing anything. So for you to print this name on the console, we need to use what? We need to use print name. Okay, so we're going to use what? Print name. As you can see, this is the name. This is what I'm printing in this place. Okay, so now let me save it again now and run this command again. So dat space main dot what? Dat. Okay, can you see we have what? Adele higher digit. So let me zoom in my what's it called? My terminal. Let me see what I can do with the zooming. Terminal zoom. Okay, yeah, I think this is good. This is good. Let me take this down a bit. Let me zoom out this guy. Okay, good. So as you can see now, we print what? We printed Adele digit, which is my name. So string data type is working very fine, and we can try to what? Override this name, which is what we do the last time. So if we are overriding the name, it has to be the name of string data type. So let's say name, we are changing name, is equals to what? Dat. So dat. So let's use name is equals to what? Dat. So let me write it down. Dat. So if I save it now and run this console again, to see it's going to overwrite what? To dat. As you can see, our name has changed to dat because it's still the same what? Data type. This is string. So and if you observe, you discover that in this place I use single quote. Can you see? I use single quotes in this place, and at the end of the changing I use what? Double quotes. So whenever you are seeing single quotes, double quotes, so don't panic. If you are using single quotes to declare, it's still great, and if you are using double quotes to declare, it's still awesome. But just make sure you are not mixing single quotes with what? Double quotes. Is going to what? Cause an issue. So if you start with single quotes, you must also end with what? Single quotes. If you start with double quotes, you must also end with what? Double quotes. So that is for the what? The string type. So the next one, we're going to be what? Working on the int data type, the integer. So the integer, the double, and the rest. So let's take it one after the other. So thank you so much for this section. In the next section, we're going to talk more on other data types. Thank you. Bye. Hey guys, welcome to this new section. In this section, we're going to be learning how to declare an integer data type and also running it. Then how you can assign a new values to it. So before I start, I will continue from where I stop with the string type format. The last time we talked about explicit type format, that is when this explicit is being made, we can't change the value of the variable. So to declare an explicit type, we are going to state the int explicit data type format has to be declared first, then the name of the variable. So here will be what? Age. So age equals to what? 25. Okay, so we declare an explicit data types with a variable of what? Age, given a value of 25. Now the value of 25, now if I try to upgrade or override the age name to double, so age equals to 2.2, we are going to have an issue. As you can see, it says what? The value of double can be assigned to what? To variable type integer. That's an error. So we can bring in double, which is still the same thing as float, into an integer, except we use the same guy as an integer. So if I say 24, it's going to what? Allow me. So let me also print the first one. So print age. Print age. Now save that and come down to the terminal section and run it now. So that's main.dat. Okay, so now we have what? 25 working very fine. Now let's override the age. Age equals to what? 30. Save it, then do clear to clear the what? To clear the terminal. So clear, enter. So it will clear the terminal. After the terminal is cleared, then run what? That main.dat, or you use arrow up. So arrow 1 brings back my previous words, my previous entry. Arrow 2 bring back the what? The main.dat, enter. So the next time you can use the word arrow up key on your keyboard. I mean this arrow up key. Did I have it on my virtual keyboard? Let me see. Okay, this arrow up key. So the arrow up key, and you want to use the arrow up key on the terminal, is going to bring back what you have typed. So as you can see on my keyboard here, I can't simply find the arrow key here, but I'm very sure you will understand what I mean. So arrow up key. Once you use the arrow up key, it's going to bring back your hold command. Okay, so this works. It override our value to 30. That's amazing. That's great. So the next data type that we have to look into now is the double data type. So take it down. Let's comment this out so it won't confuse us. Then here we are going to have what? The double. So let's say double amount is equals to what? 25.0. That means what? Double. So once we have anything decimal, it's automatically assigned as double or as a float. So this double 2 cannot be assigned to an integer. There will be an issue. So let's see. Wow, it accepted it actually. So now let's print it out before we override the assignment. So let's say print amount. So let's print the amount first. So arrow up. So we have 25.0. Now let me try to override this amount. Amounts to 30 or 300. So let's use 30. Save it. Okay, let me run it now. So I run 30. As you can see, it's automatically added 0.0. So once you have 30, it will still convert it to what? To 0.0. So we can't have a unique integer per se on this value. So as you can see, we still have 0.0 at the end of the output. So that is how double work. So double can that That is how explicit type work. So explicit type can change its value until it is being in a dynamic data type. So now we've worked on the string data type, integer data type, double data type. So the next data type is the dynamic. So in the next section, we are going to be working on the dynamic, where you can manipulate any of the data type with themselves. So thank you for this section. See you in the next one. Bye. Hey guys, welcome to this next section. In this section, we're going to be learning how to declare an integer data type and also running it. Then how you can assign a new values to it. So before I start, I will continue from where I stop with the string type format. The last time we talked about explicit type format, that is when this explicit is being made, we can't change the value of the variable. So to declare an explicit type, we are going to state the int explicit data type format has to be declared first, then the name of the variable. So here will be what? Age. So age equals to what? 25. Okay, so we declare an explicit data types with a variable of what? Age, giving a value of 25. Now this value of 25, now if I try to upgrade or override the age name to double, so age equals to 2.2, we are going to have an issue. As you can see, it says what? The value of double can be assigned to what? To variable type integer. That's an error. So we can bring in double, which is still the same thing as float, into an integer, except we use the same guy as an integer. So if I say 24, it's going to what? Allow me. So let me also print the first one. So print age. Print age. Now save that and come down to the terminal section and run it now. So that's main.dat. Okay, so now we have what? 25 working very fine. Now let's override the age. Age equals to what? 30. Save it, then do clear to clear the what? To clear the terminal. So clear, enter. So it will clear the terminal. After the terminal is cleared, then run what? That main.dat, or you use arrow up. So arrow 1 brings back my previous words, my previous entry. Arrow 2 bring back the what? The main.dat, enter. So the next time you can use the word arrow up key on your keyboard. I mean this arrow up key. Did I have it on my virtual keyboard? Let me see. Okay, this arrow up key. So the arrow up key, and you want to use the arrow up key on the terminal, is going to bring back what you have typed. So as you can see on my keyboard here, I can't simply find the arrow key here, but I'm very sure you will understand what I mean. So arrow up key, once you use the arrow up key, it's going to bring back your hold command. Okay, so this works. It override our value to 30. That's amazing. That's great. So the next data type that we have to look into now is the double data type. So take it down. Let's comment this out so it won't confuse us. Then here we are going to have what? The double. So let's say double amount is equals to what? 25.0. That means what? Double. So once we have anything decimal, it's automatically assigned as double or as a float. So this double 2 cannot be assigned to an integer. There will be an issue. So let's see. Wow, it accepted it actually. So now let's print it out before we override the assignment. So let's say print amount. So let's print the amount first. So arrow up. So we have 25.0. Now let me try to override this amount. Amounts to 30 or 300. So let's use 30. Save it. Okay, let me run it now. So I run 30. As you can see, it's automatically added 0.0. So once you have 30, it will still convert it to what? to point 0. So we can't have a unique integer per se on this value. So as you can see, we still have point 0 at the end of the output. So that is how double work. So double can that is how explicit type work. So explicit type can change its value until it is being in a dynamic data type. So now we've worked on the string data type, integer data type, double data type. So the next data type is the dynamic. So in the next section, we are going to be working on the dynamic, where you can manipulate any of the data type with themselves. So thank you for this section. See you in the next one. Bye. Hey guys, welcome again to this new section. So in this section, we'll be working with dynamic data type, not explicit anymore. So we are going to be using this dynamic. I actually use the dynamic data type in my projects most times, because it's flexible to work around. You can update the dynamic data with any data type. Okay, so without further ado, let's dive straight to how dynamic data type works. So to use dynamic data type, the first thing we have to declare, just as the explicit, we need to declare what? Dynamic. So we say dynamic name is equals to what? Adeleye Ayodeji. Sorry. Okay, so I save it, I bring it down, I print the name. So over here I will clear my terminal. So clear. Okay, so that's main.dat. Yeah, as you can see, it is what working. It prints my name. So this same guy, this same name, I want to update it to what? To an integer. Okay, save it now, run it. As you can see, we have what? 20. This same guy, I can decide to what? To make it what? 2.3 or 2.4. Save it. Because it is dynamic, it will what? It will override it and it will change it. As you can see, it's changing the value because it is what? Dynamic. I love dynamic data types. Like it make my work more easy and flexible. So I can decide to just change the data or the value any moment I would like to change it, because I don't have a static data. So for those who want explicit, you can also go for the explicit, where we have to declare string, integer, double, and core. Okay, so that is all for the data types. So thank you so much for this section. So in the next section, we are going to be learning more on that. Thank you. Hey guys, welcome to this new section. In this section, you'll be learning data types of lists. So what is list? It's simply an array from other programming language. So in that programming language, it's being called list. So let's say we want to declare our first list. So list is equals to what? You can actually specify an implicit data types in a list, that is in an array, that you want everything in this array. You want it to be what? An integer. Or if you don't want that, you can just take this out, or you specify this as dynamic. You specify this as dynamic. Let me take it down there. You specify this as as dynamic, or better still, you delete it all, then it what? It represents dynamic. This is how list work in that programming language. So now this is our list. So to declare a list, you must make sure, you must make sure you have the list data type being declared first. Then the next thing to point in is what? Your variable. So array is equals to, then open brackets. Come on, this Copilot is bringing it to me, so I'm sorry if this thing is affecting you. Sorry. So let me just bring it in, since it's popping it up for me. So now list array is equals to what? 1 2 3 4 5. So all this data is in our array. So how does array work? As you can see, we have 1 2 3 4 5. Meanwhile, if we are to access this data, it should be another array. So now let's print out this array. So I'm going to print this array, not the length. Okay, so I'll print this array. So that's main dot dot, sorry, main dot dot. Okay, as you can see, I printed what? The array out. This is the output of the array we have here. So now if I want to get individual value of this list, what do I do? So inside this list variable, I'm going to introduce what? The placement, the index of individual what values that I have here. So this first value is being indexed as 0. This is 1, this is 2, this is 3, and this is 4. So we have 0 1 2 3 4. Okay, so let's access the 0 first. So print 0 index, which is what? 1. If I decide to print 1 index, so 1 index is what? Is 2. So print 1 index. And don't forget, this array can accept anything. It can accept integer, double, whatever you think of. So now let me override this one that we have here. So let me override it. Let me just change this data. So this 0, here is 0, and here is 1. So 0 1. So this one I want it to be a name. Okay, so let's print it again. So we have what? We have name. But if this guy is an implicit data type of integer, it will not work. So please be reminded. As you can see, it says what? String can be assigned to this type of to this list type. It won't enter because it's an integer. So be mindful of this guy. But if it is what? Dynamic, it will accept it, or you make it empty. So it will still what? It will work just the way you wanted it to work. So this is how our array works. So now let's say you want to override this value without you writing it in this place. So it is possible. So let me print this guy again. As you can see, it is 2, which is what? 0 1, which is this guy here. Okay, so now let me say array, then I will get the what? The 1. Sorry, this 1. So I want to override this data to what? To my name, Adeleye Ayodeji. Okay, close the statements, save, and check it out. Sorry. Okay, now as you can see, we have it here, Adeleye Ayodeji. So it override the data because it is what? It is dynamic at the moment. Okay, so how do you get? So let's get the length. So get the length of the array. So how do you get the length of the array? It's very simple. So we are going to what? Print with what? Array dot length. Array dot what? Dot length. That's how to get the length of the array. So let me comment this print right to print the value. So I've saved that. So over here I'm going to run my main dot dart. As you can see, it says all the data I have on my array, it is what? 5. So let's count it. 1 2 3 4 5. So it's add all the index together to get the words, the total length of the array. So that's how the length works. So now let's comment this length and do another format. So we are going to say add a new index to the array. Okay, bring it down. So now if you have to add a new index, it's very simple. So we are, according to that programming language, we have a function that automatically add to our existing array. A very simple syntax, which is add. So now to add to this array, to this existing array we have, which is 1 2 3 4 5. Let me print it again so that you have full knowledge on how it works. So print array. Okay, so let's print the array. Sorry. Okay, now as you can see, I have 1, I have Adeleye Ayodeji, I have 3, I have 4, I have 5. Okay, so we want to add to this array. So I'm going to say array dot add. So what did I want to add? I want to add a new name, or anything. Let's say I want to add, yeah, let me add food. Let me say rice, add rice to the array. So rice is going to be what added after this 5 in the array. So now let's print it now. Main dot that, as you can see, we have one Adelaide Adeji and we have what rice. This is amazing, and this rice you can definitely accept it. So for you to get this rice value, it's going to be 0 1 2 3 4 5. So that's 5. So I'm going to say 5, save it and check it again. As you can see, we have what? We have rice. This is absolutely amazing for you to learn that programming language. Okay, so at the same time, you can decide to remove from index of an array or using a value. So now let's try to remove from the index, and we also try to remove from the array. So I'm going to say comment remove from the index of an array. So we are going to use the array remove at not the value. So remove at where? Remove at 1, let's say 0. Remove at 0. So this remove at 0 will take out number 1, and everything is going to start with what? With my name. So let's print this guy. So let me take this one out and bring it downward. Okay, so print array. So we should have that guy there. Now as you can see, we have Adelaya Yodeji 345. So let's say I don't want to start from there. I want to start from what? From 1. Okay, remove at what? 1. As you can see, it's being removed. And at the same time, you can also try to remove with value, remove from value. So array dot remove with value format. So you have different format that you can remove on array. So let's say it is value format that I want to use. So I can decide to remove what? Rice. So I'm going to type rice in this place. Rice, remove what? Remove rice, then print the array. Now as you can see, it's removed the what? The rice. So that's how powerful that programming language is, and how fun it will be by the time you dive more deep into it. Okay, so let me save this now, and in the next section you are going to learn more on that programming language. Thank you for this one. Bye. Hey guys, welcome to this new section. In this new section, you are going to be learning how maps works. So the previous one we talked about how list data types work. So in this section, you are going to be learning how map data types work. So now for you to declare in your map data types, so you have to specify a data types of what? Of map, the entry. So map, since we are using dynamic data, so map, which is or obj. So map is just object in other programming language like PHP, JavaScript. So it's an object. So it's equals to what? Object declaration. So in this object declaration, I have to close my statement, so I won't have any issue with that. So in the very first one, you can decide to use an integer because we set it as an integer. So let me show you how this actually work. So let's say we have the first declaration, which is the index as 1, then the value is what's 1. So in this place, if I'm to specify this kind of stuff now, in the map section, I'm going to have my declaration in this place that states that this index is what? Is integer. So I'm going to say int, comma, then this my value, any value I'll be using will be what? Will be a string. So string. So in case you see it in your Word or your Flutter projects, so you understand how this work. So this int represents the what? The index of the what? The objects. So this index of this object is the what? Is this integer, and this value of this object is what? Is the string. Now let me now try to create a new value to this my object. Then I specify this as as a string, you're going to see the error. Can you see? It says what the type element int can be assigned to map value type of a string, because my int is doing because my map is declared the index to be an integer and also the value to be a string. Then I'm bringing in an integer into the value, which is not what's applicable. But if I change this to int, it's going to accept it. As you can see, it's accepted, but my one is not accepted because it's a string. It won't take it in. But if we make it dynamic, before we make it dynamic, let me show you another thing. So let me turn this to 300. Then if I change this guy to a string, it will be an issue. So there are restrictions and limitations to type declaration in the object format, which is the map. So for you to have a freedom in this kind of stuff, so you have to pass in dynamic. So dynamic index and dynamic what? Dynamic value. So dynamic index and dynamic value. So since we have dynamic and dynamic, so you can either delete it by not passing anything. So it's still the same thing. It says it as what? As dynamic. So if I save this guy now and pick the obj, then print it below. So I'm going to say print obj, which is what's object. So I'm going to say that main dot. Okay, now can you see now we have what? Our object has been printed for us. We have the object of a, which is what? 300, and the same thing to the object of 2. So if we can decide to print only a, because it's an object, so I can decide to pick a. So save it. Now let me print what? A is what? 300. And we can decide to add more to this object by saying obj, then declare something new. Name is equals to add the layer. Okay, so I've added a new property to my object. So let me save it now and print the entire object. Okay, so let's print this guy now. As you can see, I have what? A delay ayodeji. It's amazing. This is great. So there are a lot of possibilities you can achieve with that programming language. So let's get the length. So we'll get the length. Let's get the length. Okay, as you can see, the total length of my properties is what? Is 3, which is what? Which is correct. This is amazing. And we can decide to override the value of a property. So let's override 2. So obj picking what? Picking 2 equals to what? Food. So don't forget, this is just like objects in JavaScript and in PHP. How objects work, then you can override it. It's very, very simple. As you can see, let me print the obj, not the length. Sorry. Okay, so I've override my 2, which is 33, to what? To food. Okay, so as you can see, 2 is now what? 2 is now food. Like, this is amazing. This is amazing. So let's try to remove the value of what? Of index of 2. Let's see what we are going to get. So let me take this guy down. Sorry, let's take it down. Okay, so we remove what? 2. As you can see, 2 is being removed, and you can decide to add new value using that programming add functionality. So let's try to do that. Obj dot add or entry. So take that out. So in the or entry is going to be this kind of format. So let me take it backward. Let me close my statement. Then if you want to add, it has to be an object just as we define it in this place. So we are adding something new. So add, what am I adding? I'm adding something new to this data. So I'm going to add let's say food, or food equals to bread, and age. We don't want to use age. Let's say let's say age equals to 45. Okay, now save that and let's print it out. Okay, now as you can see, it's added to it. Like, this is amazing. So the object handling is very very cool, and the object remover is also cool. Like, this is this is kind of amazing. I love this programming language now, and I hope you will find the best out of this Dart programming language in your own area of development. So thank you so much for this section. See you in the next one. Hey guys, welcome to this new section. In this section, you'll be learning how Boolean data types work. That is applying true or false to a variable. So to declare a Boolean data type, you have to initialize with the implicit data types of bool. Then you specify the variable. So bool, let's say food is equals to what? True. Then let's print it. So print food. Okay, so let's say that, then main dots. As you can see, we have what? True. And you can also override this food by specifying it to false. So in boolean, you can either have true or what, or false, nothing more. So I've override the boolean towards to false. Let's see. As you can see, it is false. So this is how boolean data types works in that programming language. Thank you for this section. See you in the next one. Hey guys, welcome to this new section. In this section, you'll be learning how to declare a no value, a final data types, and a const data type. So let's start with null value. So null is like, okay, we don't have anything in the data, so it can either be this way. Let's print this guy, print a. So to declare a null value, you either use this format to declare a null value, or you use this format to declare it. So without passing anything, it's going to be what? It's going to be null. So this is how to declare a null value. Okay, so let's move on to the next one. If you are thinking on declaring a variable that you don't want to change, you don't want it to change, it's just like in PHP we have constants. So you can have constant variable where you don't want the data to be changed. Is just constant. So in that programming language, we can either use final or we use const. So we are going to be using the two. So I'm going to say final name is equals to Adeleye Ayodeji. Okay, so we use this final data types mostly in class and object formats, but for you, you may want to use it in some of your class and object formats. So that's why we are having this example in this current section. So now let's print this final name. So I'm going to say print name. Okay, so let's print the name. As you can see, we have Adeleye Ayodeji. Now if I try to override this the noun, I'm saying Bolu. So a new name is given to it. Now as you can see, it says what? The final variable name can only be sent once. So we can redeclare a new data value to it. So because we've already declared this name here, we cannot assign a new data into it. So there will be an issue for us to do that. Okay, so now let's move on to the next one, which is the const. Which is the const. So here will now be const equals to name is equals to bread. Okay, so let's print what? Let's print bread. Oh, sorry, let's print the name. Okay, so main dot that. See, we have bread. Now if we try to override this bread now, there will be an issue. Can you see? It says what? Constant variable can't be assigned to a value. Try remove the assignment or remove the modifier const from the what, from the variable. Now it said you should remove this guy which is not possible to still declare it except we have what, variable. So if we use variable, we can what, override it. So we, by using this variable, it will allow us to what, to override this bread. But to avoid confusion, let me what, comment this out. Okay, so we're going to what, declare a new variable below so that we can override. Okay, so we are going to make this declaration with a var variable declaration type. So it's going to be variable name equals to Adele Ayodeji. So let's print this guy out. Let's see if it's working. Okay, as you can see, it's working. So once you start with a string, you have to also override with a string. So you have to override with a string. Can you see? So if you try to override with an integer, there will be an error. As you can see, it's an error. But if I start with integer, I can override with integer. Can you see? Working fine. So this is how null value final data type, const data type, and name data type works. So thank you so much for this section. See you in the next one. Hey guys, welcome again to this new section. In this section, you'll be learning that concatenation. It is pretty simple. Yeah, so don't get yourself worried about that. Okay, so before I start, I will comment this as that concatenation. So what is that concatenation? That concatenation simply means you adding a variable with another variable together. That is, I bring this variable A, I also bring this variable B, I join them together. That is what we call concatenation. Okay, so without further ado, let me do some simple example here. So I'm going to call this string name is equals to John. Yeah, so if we have string name is equals to John and string last name is equals to Joe, so now we have these two variable name with the data type of string and variable last name with the data type of string. Okay, so I can decide to concatenate these both. Now I'm going to what, concatenate them. Okay, so concatenate. So to do the concatenation, I'm going to either have a new variable, or I might decide to just print it directly, but let me declare a new variable. So I'm going to have a dynamic variable here, or I can still accept a string variable at the same time. String variable total, let's call this total is equals to what, name plus last name. Name plus, then you add a space if you like to add a space, and if you don't want to add a space, you can take this out and let it be this way. Now we are adding a string plus another string, which return back as what, as a string. Okay, now let me print this now. So I'm going to print this guy. I'm going to print total. Yeah, so print total. Now do you understand what I just did? Now we have the variable name, which is John, variable last name, which is Joel, and the total is what we are performing the concatenation. So we perform the concatenate functionality by adding the first variable, plusing it together to the last variable. As simple as that. So after adding these two together, it will now form a new value for the total. Now this total, we are now what, we are printing it down here. Okay, let's save this now and let's print what we have on our screen. So I'm going to say that main dot. Okay, so let's have what we have. As you can see, we have what, John Doe. And if you want to add space to it, you can decide to do it this way. You save and you recheck. As you can see, oh sorry, the space is taken out. So, okay, let's try it now. Let's see. As you can see, the space is what is added. This how to concatenate two variables together. Absolutely simple. Now let me do another example, a more complex explanation. So with this version, we are going to what add an integer int value to the concatenation. So I'm going to say I'm going to declare a new variable, variable number or variable age is equals to 20. Okay, now naturally if we are to add age, let me say final. Oh, no, don't let us use final, let's use string again. So I want to add age to the string, so age final, string final, oh sorry, string final age. Good. So string final age, we want to add it to total, so total plus age. So now to add these two together is not going to work. As you can see, it's not even allowing me to move on to the next thing. We're having this red line under it, and the reason why we're having this red line under it is because we are not converting. So we need to convert this age to the string data type of the parent data that we are adding into, which is this same guy that we are retrieving it from. Now if I turn this to int, this guy is going to be the one output, because I'm returning this to this. So this has to be an integer and this has to be an integer to get this final age. Okay, so to make this work is very simple. We are going to add this string and convert this age to to a string. So we are going to convert this to string. So to string functionality is what we are going to use to return a string down, or to return an integer down to a string. So it's going to convert this data type to a string automatically. Okay, now let me copy this now and print it. So print final age. So we should have dwell is space 20. So dwell is space is 20. So now that years, let me now add years to it. So I'm going to add string, let's add years, 20 years. Okay, string last, let's say last dot, or last dot is equals to years. So we're going to have this as years. So let's give a space to this. Okay, so last dot plus final age. So we should have dwell is 20 years old. 20 years old. Okay, let's see that. As you can see, dwell is 20 years old. Amazing. Now everything we did here, now you can also use another functionality to perform the same tasks. That is the in-between string formats. So if you like to use in-between string formats, I can pass everything down to this place without having to add it to final. So in these last dots, we can add final inside the same place. So I'm going to cut out final age and move down to this place. Then I'm going to open, or not open, if it's a kind of format that you cannot that doesn't work with split, like an array, you have to use something like this to make it work. Something like this to make it work. But if it's just a single variable, I will advise you to just use something like this. That's all. So if it's an array that you need to start getting the data or getting the key of something, so you have to use the previous one I showed you, which is this guy. So this is going to make it more comfortable for you. Okay, but if it's just a single variable, pass it this way and it's going to work. Okay, save that. Now we have everything in last dots. Now last dot, let's print it out. As you can see, Joandrea is 20 years old. This is how concatenation work in that programming language. Thank you for this one. See you in the next section. Bye. Hey guys, welcome to dot operators. In this section, we are going to learn how dots use operators to solve their mathematical problem. So you are going to be learning everything you need to know about that. Okay. Without further ado, let's move straight to the solution. Okay, first I'm going to declare a variable num1 is equals to 2. Yeah, then num2 is equals to 5. Okay, so I have integer number 1 and int number 2. Now I want to find the total, so I'm going to sum it up with int sum. Now this addition we are using here is an operator in that also applies to other programming language. Just the regular plus that we normally use is the plus that we're going to use to add the first number and the second number together. Okay, now let's print this now. Print num. Okay, print sum rather. Print sum. Okay, save that. Run this code. Now we have what? We have 7. It's add 2 plus 5. Now let me convert it to subtraction. So I'm going to say num2 is what? Is 5. Num1 is 2. So I'm going to change this now to 2, and this one is 1. So we can have a remainder. So now num2 minus num1. So we should have 3. So let's see if we are getting 3. As you can see, we have 3 in the terminal. Awesome. Okay, so I'm going to now go back to the plus again, and I will try to increment this this value that we have here. Naturally, if we check this now, we have what? We have 7. So now we can add a query that can increment this sum. Okay, so we are going to add an increment to 2 or to 1. So let's add the increment to 2. So I'm going to say num2 plus plus. So with num2 plus plus, we should have an increment of 1 to the 5. Okay, so now let's check this now. Now as you can see, we have what? We have 8. We can do the same to num1. So num1 plus plus. Okay, save. Let's check it out. As you can see, we have what? We have 9. And the same applicable to minus minus, which is vice versa. So we should have 8. Okay, it's 7. So we take out this guy, which is 5. 5 plus 3, which is plus. This one's plus plus. But this one is minus minus. Okay, so let's debug that. Let's see what we have. So I will comment this first one, comment this last one. Now let's log num2. Let's see what we have in num2. Okay, so check it out. As you can see, it takes out 1 out of the 4. Then we later have what? 2 plus plus. Now let's check num1. Let's see what we have in num1. Why is it not adding? Okay, num1 we have 3. So 3 plus 5, we should have a tangible result, which should be okay, it should be 7. 3 plus 4, 7. Yeah, it is actually correct. Awesome. Okay, let's check the sum again. Save that. Check it out. Now it's 7. It's actually correct. Okay, so if it return this to minus minus, we should have 6. Okay, 5. This is 4 and this is 1. Yes, awesome, correct. That's 5. It's 5. This one is 1 minus 1, which is 1, minus 1, which is 4. Then 4 plus 1, 5 together. Okay, so we have so many operators that you can be used in that. So let's try another one. Let's try to solve another problem. So I'm going to check for division this time around. So I'm going to say int num1 is equals to 10, then int num2 is equals to 2. Now I'm going to say results should be divided. So num1 divided by num2. Now as you can see, my division is not coming up. The reason why it's not coming up is because the final result should be double, so we can't have a division response to the result. So let's convert this to double. We should not have any problem. Okay, we doubled as a float, that is something with a division dot 1.0 2.0, something like that is what double does. Okay, so final result is going to length into results of data type of double. Okay, so now let's print our final results. Let's print it. Let's see what we have. So 10 divided by 2 should give us 5. So let's see. As you can see, 5.0, correct. Okay, so there are lots of operators you can use in that. A lot. So we can also do multiplication. So over here now, I'm going to check for multiplication. So let me declare a general variable num1 or num x1, because we already have num1. X1 equals to 5, then variable num2 equals to 2, then 5 times 2, variable num x3. So I'm going to use a multiplication. So 5 times 2 is equals to what? Should give us 10. Okay, save and check it out. Correct. So everything is working as expected. I believe you will explore more on this tutorial. Thank you so much for this section. See you in the next one, where we are going to solve more complex problem. Thank you. Bye. Hey guys, welcome to this section. In this section, you'll be learning the equality and the relational operators in that. It is very easy to understand. It is very simple. Now, what is the equality and relational operators in that? That provide the functionality of checking the relationship between the values or the values within the variable. Yeah, it provides the functionality to check if this guy is the same to this guy, or if this guy is not the same with this guy. That is just what the relational operator does. Very simple. Okay, now these operators return the resultant value as boolean. Yes, either true or false. That is what they return. Now, list of equality and relational operators. We have the greater than. So there is this operator just check, nothing more. It just check if the other side is greater than the right hand side. For example, 4 is greater than 5. 4 is greater than 2, which is going to return what? True. I don't know if you understand what I just said. 4 is greater than 2, which will return what? True. But if I write the code this way, 4 less than 2, and 4 is not less than 2 practically, so we have to what? Make it false. So it's either within false or what? Or within true. That is what this operator normally return. As simple as that. So we have the greater than. This operator checks which operand is bigger and gives the result as a Boolean expression. The same applies to the lesser than. This operator checks which operand is smaller and gives the result as a Boolean expression. We also have another version. Greater than or is equals to. Greater than or is equals to. Now, this operand checks which operand is greater or equal to each other and gives the result as a Boolean expression. This is what I mean. If 4 is greater than or is equals to 4. If 4 is greater than or is equals to 4, this result is going to this query is going to result to what? To true. That is 4 is either greater than or is equals to, but with this equals to, it's matched themselves. 4 is equals to what? 4, which return true. Now for the greater than part, it's might not, this 4 might not be greater than this because they are the same thing, but for it is greater than or, as you can see there's an or is equals to what? 4, so it's return true. That is for that, as simple as that. So the next one is lesser than or equals to, just the same thing, vice versa. This operator checks which operand is less than or equals to each other and gives the result as a Boolean expression, as simple as that. Equality, the equality is totally simple. Equality is okay, 5 is equality to 5. This will return true because 5 is the same value as 5. But if I say 5 equality of 6, is going to return false because 5 and 6 is not the same thing. But if I turn it to 6 value of 6, so they have the same data value, which is equal to each other, so that will return what? True. Simple as that. Okay, now let's read the explanation. This operator checks whether the operands are equal to each other or not, give the result as a Boolean expression. Very simple. The next one is not equal. So if I have 5 not equals to 6, we're going to have what? True. But if I have 5 not equals to 5, that's false because 5 is equals to 5. As simple as that. Now this operator checks whether the operands are not equals to each other or give or not gives the result as a Boolean expression. Very, very simple and amazing. So with this short understanding of this equality and relational operator, you can do a lot greater things with it, because in the future we are going to be using less than, greater than, or is equals to in our if statement, in our if condition, including ternary operator, different kind of data that you'll be using. You will need to have the basic understanding of this guy. Okay, so thank you so much for this section. See you in the next one. Bye. Hey guys, welcome again to this new series. In this series, we are going to learn that if else statement. In that, if block is executed when the given condition is true. That is, if you are putting on white, let you have something. If you are putting on yellow, do not get anything. If you are putting on green, let you do this. That is what the kind of condition we are talking about. And if the given condition is false, the else block is what? Executed. But if it is true, the real gift that is meant to be for you is going to be given to you. Okay, so now let's look at the syntax. As you can see, the condition is stated in this kind of format. We have what? If, then inside this condition we pass the kind of condition we want, and this is the first statement for the positive condition, and if there's an issue, the negative condition is going to what? Is going to be executed. Okay, without further ado, let's dive straight to the real practical. So I'm going to go to my VS Code now, and over here I'm going to devise some simple example of what I just given just now. So I'm going to have variable color is equals to blue. Okay, so variable age is equals to 18. Yes. So now I'm going to check I'm going to have it. I just add a comment now, so this comment is going to make it look more amazing. So I'm going to check if 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 the student color is blue. So if it is not blue, it's going to do some else statements. So let me zoom out, or let me close my terminal so that we can see what I'm typing. So I'm going to take it down and I'm going to run this now. If color, or before I do this, let me define the student so that it will be more easy. So over here I'm going to say variable student is equals to black. So student is black, student is not blue. So over here I'm going to check if student is equals to what? Is equals to color. That is, if student is equals to this color. That is, if student black is equals to this student blue, this color blue. You get what I mean? This is the student having color of black, and this is the main color that we have in our party. Okay, so I'm going to check if this student is actually putting on black, or if this student is actually putting on what? Blue. So I'm checking if student is equals to this color. What do we want to do? We want to run print student is what? Is blue. But else student is what? Student is not blue. Do you understand it now? Let me take this out, or let me disable my let me disable it for now. If I disable for that might disable forever. Okay, let me just omit it. So let me take out this else. I don't want it writing else for me. Okay, if student which is black is equals to this color which is what? Blue, then print student is blue. But if there is an issue, then print student is not blue. Okay, so if student is the same color with color, student is blue, else student is not blue. So now let's save this now and bring out our terminal, then run this query. Run main.dat. As you can see, student is not blue, and is a normal thinking student is not blue, which is not the same thing. But if I turn this student to blue, that means the condition would match the true condition. Now if I save this now, I'll run this function again. Student is what? Is blue. That is, it match the condition. And if I return this guy to black and I change this color to black also, we should have what? True condition, because it's the same thing. Student is blue. Meanwhile, I change it to black, so I can just decide to make this what? Black, and run it again. Student is what? Student is black. So that is how the if and else condition work. So now let me give another example. So this is a string example, so I'm going to give age example. So this is the normal age, and here is age entry. So age entry is equals to not an integer, is equals to 20. So the age entry is 20. So I'm going to check if age entry, I'm going to check if this age is greater than age entry, or if age entry is less than the main age. So I'm going to just check if this this guy age that is coming to our party meet the required words, either the minimum or the exact age that we have here. So to do that, I'm going to run an if statement. So I'm going to say if our party age, which is this age that we have here, if this age is equal, so we might not use equal. If age if age is we can use less than. No, if you use less than, it's going to accept it as true. So let's say if age is greater than or is equals to age entry. So age entry. Okay, so if this age, which is 18, is greater than or is what is equals to age entry, and age entry is what 20. Naturally age is 18, so it is not greater than neither equals to, so it will not what it will not work. Okay, so now let's say print you are what you are allowed to enter, else you are not what you are not allowed to enter. So let's check this out. As you can see, because the age is higher, you are not you are not allowed to enter. But if I change this age to 18, it's going to allow me to enter. You are what you are allowed to enter. Or if I make it 10, it will still allow me, because it says if age is greater than, so it's capturing two conditions. You are what you are allowed to enter, but it must not be higher than age. So let me take out this is equals to. Now it says if age is greater than what age entry. Let's still check it. You are what allowed to enter, because age entry is 10 and the main age is 18, so it's greater than this guy. And also if you check if it's equals to, if age is equals to age entry, you are not allowed. So that means you are not allowing lower age. But if you check if age is greater than or is equals to, if it's greater than or is equals to what age entry, then 10 years old will enter, and people before 18 years old is going to enter, and 18 years old itself is also going to enter. Okay, sorry for the cough. So this is where we're going to stop in this series. We shall continue again in the next one. Bye. Thank you for this. Thank you for your time for watching this, and I hope you enjoy the series we just worked on. Bye. See you in the next one. Hey guys, welcome to that switch key statement. In this series we are going to be learning how switch case statements actually work. But before we get started in doing that, let's define the definition for switch case. So switch case statement is a conditional statement like if else ladder statement, but it has multiple conditional statements, but the only one can be true. That switch statement work with various data types, and switch case expression can have integer, string, just like any other data types that you can pass into the condition. That is how their expression work for switch case. And the syntax for the switch case looks something like this. I'm very sure you are familiar with this in other programming language. So we have the word is switch, the expression will be here, and here we have the word the case, and the default will be this guy, which our home represents what else statement if it doesn't what if the condition doesn't meet the rest of the code. Okay, so without further ado, let's dive to the code and let's see what switch case does. So I'm going to comment my my if statement here. I'll rather take it down so I can use this same example for the switch case. So over here I'm going to define the switch. I'm going to define the switch. So inside my switch area, I'm going to pass a variable which is the color, and this variable color is going to be the one to determine if what is coming from here is actually matching with the case of our data. Okay, so I'm going to use switch age. Then over here I'm going to have the curly brackets. Inside my curly brackets I'm going to have my case. So for age 20 for age 20 I'm going to print you are 20. So once I do that, I'm going to break the statement and have the next case 18, then print you are 18, then break that. Okay, so I'm going to also set default case. So in case the cases does not meet the require data. So the default is going to print you are not 18 or 20. Okay, so I save this down, and our age is what, 18 over here. So I'm going to pass this data into this place. So if this age match with 20, you are 20. If this age, that is what we have here, match with this one, you are 18. But if this age does not match any of the case value, then what, you are not 18 or 20. Okay, so let's run this code. Currently we have what, 18, so this should run, you are 18. Okay, so let's run that. As you can see, it says what, you are what, 18. We have you are 18 because it's match what, 18. So let's change it to 20. So this case match what, 20. So I'm going to run it. You are what, you are 20. Now I'm going to change this switch case to string condition. So over here I'm going to switch to string condition. So switch, here we're going to have color, which is a string. Inside the color we're going to have case of what, blue. So with blue we are going to what, we are going to print, we're going to print blue, and we are going to break it. Then the next case is going to be let's say red. So print red, then break it, and here we are going to have what, default color, which is going to be black. Okay, so if our color match black, then we are going to have what, oh, we did not have the right black, so let's write black in the first area. So match black, and here match default. So again, let's call this default. So if our color match black, it's going to print black. If our color match red, it's going to print red. But if it doesn't match anything, it's going to print default. Okay, so let me save it now and run this code. As you can see, it's match black, which is black that we have here. If I change this to red, we should have red. As you can see, we have red. And if this doesn't match any color, we should have default. So this is how switch case statements work, as simple as that. So thank you so much for taking your time to watch this series. See you in the next one. Bye. Hey guys, welcome again to this section. In this section you'll be learning Dart programming for loop. Okay, so what is for loop in Dart programming language? Dart for loop is an implementation of a definite loop. The loop for loop executes the code block for a specific number of times, and it can be used to iterate over a fixed set of values, such as an array. The same for loop we use in Dart correspond with the same for loop we use in JavaScript and most of the rest of the programming language. So if you are coming from another language, this is a bonus for you. You don't need to stress yourself a lot to achieve this. It's still the same process of the for loop we have in other languages. Okay, so this is the syntax to achieve this. For the first argument, we have the initial count value and the termination condition. Second argument, and the third argument, we have the steps. Okay, and in between the for loop environment, we have the statements. So without further ado, let's dive straight to the examples of this code. So I'm going to be declaring a new variable for loop to 10. So it's going to for loop to 10. So we are going to be counting from 0, 1, 2, 3 down to 10 with a for loop functionality. So I'm going to do this now. Write for loop. So for variable I is equals to what, 0. Then close the statements, and in between it we have the condition, just as what we have here. Initial count value, which is this. For variable I is equals to 0. So I want to start my counting from 0, 1 to 3, and the next one is the condition. So what kind of condition did I want to pass to this thing? So I'm going to say if I is less than for loop, that is for loop variable, if I is less than for loop variable, close that. So if I is less than for loop variable, that is the termination condition. So what should it do if it is true or it is false? So if it's less than the condition that we are setting for it, it should stop the looping, or if it is not, it should continue the iteration over here, which is the step. Okay, so I'm going to check now. For variable I is equals to 0, then check if I, meanwhile I is what, 0. If I is less than what, is less than for loop, and for loop is what, 10. So if I is less than 10, if 0 is less than 10, and we all know 0 is what, 0 is less than 10, then if I is less than 10, then we're going to do what, I plus plus. Then we're going to make an increment to what, to I. We make an increment to I. That's how for loop work. So in between our code execution, we are going to what, we are going to do print I. So we are going to call this, let me concatenate the I, since we already learned what concatenation is. So I am loop number 1, okay, loop number 0, loop number 1, loop number 2, down to loop number 10. Okay, I will save this now and bring up my terminal, and then let's check this out. So I'm going to say dot main dot. Okay, run that. As you can see, I am loop number 0, I am loop number 1, I am loop number 2, down to what, number 9. So it was because we make this condition to check if 0 is less than for loop. That is, if I is less than for loop, if 1 is less than for loop, if 2 is less than for loop, down to what, to 9. It's only when it's less than before this stuff can stop. As you can see, we did not have 10 on our looping area. So what to do to solve this issue now is to check if it's less than or is equals to. So if I is less than or is equals to the for loop, then stop or continue. That is what we have here. But if it is greater than, it will not continue to 11 or 12 or whatever it is. But if the I is less than, which is 0, and it is equals to the loop, so it will loop through the entire for loop. If you have 1000, it loop through the 1000. If you have any amounts of data you have here, it's going to loop through it, except you have a custom number that you are pointing into this place, then it will not do that. But if we have something like this, it's going to loop through the entire number. So let's check that out. As you can see, we have it up to 10, and if you have 20, it will loop through up to 20. Okay, so if you don't want to start from 0, it is very possible to do that. You change this to 1 and you save it. You save that. Let's clear our terminal. So clear. Okay, so let's run it again. Main.dat, as you can see, starting from what? Starting from 1 down to 10. So easy. So that is how for loop work in that programming language. Just like the rest of the programming language, it's all simple. Very, very simple. Okay, so thank you so much for this lesson. I hope you will move on to the next one. Thank you very much. If you have any question, drop it down in the comment section. Bye. Hey guys, welcome again to this news lesson. In this series, we are going to be learning while loop in that programming language. What is while loop? While loop executes the instructions each time the condition specified evaluates to true. That is, every time it's running, it's performing the iteration in the loop, it will check if the condition evaluates to what? To true. Once it is true, then the statement is going to be performed, and it is a boom, it work. Okay, so in other words, the loop evaluates the condition before the block of code is executed, just as I've explained. The loop evaluates the condition. It has to check it again. Keep on checking. Does it match this? Is it working with this? It's going to check, and once it is true, then the statement is going to be executed. Okay, as you can see, we have the example of the while loop at our screen. why we have the expression, and after the expression is stated and it is true, then we can have the statement to be executed. Yeah, without further ado, let's dive straight to our previous example and let's convert it to while loop. So I'm going to click on my VS Code again. Now as you can see, we have a previous example for our for loop, but this for loop now we're going to convert it to while loop. Now let's see how it will work. So I'm going to take it down and comment this. Let me comment this for loop itself, and over here I'm going to have the while loop. So I'm going to declare, but before I introduce the while loop, I need to pass the variable I manually. So variable I is equals to 1, just as we stated we want it 1, but let's start with 0. We started for loop with 0, so let's start variable I with 0. Then over here we are going to perform our while loop. So let me draw this thing down so it will be easy for us to achieve. So over here I'm going to have y. So y for loop is, or y I is less than for loop, the condition has to be true, just as we stated in our for loop. Okay, so y I is less than for loop. Okay, so if I is less than for loop, then print what? Print the loop. So print I am the loop. I am the loop number what? Number 0, 1, 2, 3, 4 and co. So for this 0, 1, 2 to work, there is something we need to pass, but I'm going to save this now. I will save this and let's run it. Let's see if it's going to iterate the 0, 1, 2, 3 of the data we have, or it's going to just show the 0 only. Okay, so let's do this initialization. Let's run it. Though if I'm to run this loop, this is an infinite loop because there is no stopping, but let me just show you what is going to do if you don't pass the necessary data to the while loop. Okay, so I'm going to run this now. Don't forget we have if I is less than, which is 0, so it remains 0. So if I is less than, that if 0 is less than 10, so keep on looping. Okay, so I'm going to run this now. That's the main. As you can see, oh sorry, I need to save this. Okay, I just saved that. This is my previous for loop. Okay, so let me run it again now. As you can see, it keep on looping. It has infinite loop just because the while loop is seeing I as 0, then it is static, it's not dynamic. So I have to close this now so my CPU it's being stable, or to resolve my CPU issue. Okay, so now I have stopped the loop now. So what we need to add to this while loop query to solve this issue is we need to increment this I, just as we increment the I for the for loop. We need to increment this I in our while loop area. So I'm going to increment the I here, I plus plus. So as the I is being incremented, it will automatically pass it down to this existing 0. So once it's received the increments of the data, once the data is increased and it's added to this I, then it's going to perform it just as we have 0. Then the next one is 1. Then if 1 is less than for loop down to 10. If 10 is less than, meanwhile it's not less than, so it will stop at 9. So if 9 is less than for loop, then do this, then it will stop the iteration. Okay, so let me save this and let's run the sample. That's dot main. As you can see, we have the correct data. Let me take this higher so you can see my screen very well. Now as you can see, we have it starting from the 0, so 0, 1, 2 down to 9. That's amazing. Okay, so if we want to omit the 0, we want it to start from 1, you can pass it just the way just the way we pass it for the for loop. As you can see, we have it 1 here. Okay, so let's save this and run it. Let me take this up again. Okay, that dot main. Now as you can see, I believe this is starting from 1. Let's take it, let's check that. As you can see, now we have what, 1, 2 down to 9. Awesome. Okay, so now let's make it down to 10 just as we have it on our for loop area. So I'm going to check if I is less than or it is equals to for loop, that is equals to the main length of the number. If it's an array, you pass it to the length. Okay, so if I is less than or it is equals to for loop, then what, loop through until it match the exact length or the exact number that we have. Save this now. Sorry, oh, my keyboard. Okay, save. I save that now, and I'm going to clear my terminal. Terminal is cleared, so we should have 1 to 10 this time around. Now, as you can see, it loop from 1 down to what, to 10. This is how while loop work, as simple as that. I hope you understand this, and if you have any question, drop it down below in the comments box. Thank you so much for taking your time to watch this current lesson. Bye. Hey guys, welcome again to this new series of this lesson. In this lesson, you'll be learning that do while loop. That do while loop. It is very simple, just similar to while loop, but in this case, it is do that is going to perform the execution of the code, while the while is going to take the expression of the query. Okay, so what is that do while loop according to our definition? Yeah, that do while loop executes a bit of code first and then checks the condition. If the condition returns true, then the loop what, continues, or else is going to stop. Here we have the syntax do and the condition that we have here. Without further ado, let's dive straight to the example. Okay, so over here I'm going to be using this I'm going to convert this while loop to do while loop. Okay, to do that is very simple. So over here I'm going to perform the do. So close, okay, take it down, do. So what are we doing? Do print I am here. Then I, so the I is the iteration of our I that we have here. Don't forget, we need to pass an I plus plus for the query to stop once the condition is met, which is the I plus plus, just as we have it for the while loop area. Okay, so after we have the do, which is our statement area, which represents something like this, then we are going to pass our y because it's do while loop. So our y is going to be here. Then we close the statement here. So we are going to check if I is less than what, for loop. Then do this. Then after we are done doing that, we can print done with loop. Okay, so let's save it. Now as you can see, we are looping through our previous loop area with our I, which is just 1. So so our condition is we check if I is less than what, 10, then continue, and if it's not, run the first loop and leave the rest. Okay, save it now, run the terminal. As you can see, I am here 1 down to done with what, with the loop, which is what we have here, and this stop at what, at 9. So if I pass this to less than is equals to, we should have it working. Okay, sorry, that's dot main. As you can see, we have it at what, at 10. Yeah, so that's how do while loop work. I hope you understand it. I'll see you in the next lesson. Bye. Thank you. Hey guys, welcome again back to this new series. In this series, you are going to be learning loop control statements. So what is loop control statement? Loop control statement is used to break the flow of the flow of control of the loop. That is, if it is used within a loop, then it will terminate the loop whenever it is encountered. That is, if you are iterating in a given loop and you want the loop to stop at the number 4, you can use the break keyword and it will automatically stop the loop. So without further ado, let's dive straight to the real world example. So let me go to my VS Code now, then click on my dance. So over here I'm going to be using the previous for loop example that we've worked with. So I'm going to use for loop here. So I'm going to say for. So I'm going to use a shortcut to achieve that. So for variable I equals to 0, just as we've tested in the previous series. So I'm going to change this to for loop. Then inside this place, I'm going to print. I'm going to print the high. So we should have it. We should have it from 0 down to 9. So I'm going to run it now. That main.dat, as you can see, is working. So what did I want to do? I want to check if this I is 4. So once it's 4, it's going to break the loop. So I'm going to check if I is equals to what? 4. What did you want to do? I want to break the loop. I want to break the loop. I don't want the loop to continue anymore. So once it is 4, the loop is going to break. Else, it's going to continue. Okay, so we'll try this again. Let me clear my terminal. Clear. Terminal is cleared. Then run it again. Main.dat. As you can see, it started from what? It started from 0, 1, 2, 3, and once it is 4, it's break. The meaning of break is to cancel. You destroy the iteration of the current loop. That is how break work. Okay, so we are going to learn more about breaking and doing more about the loop statement in the next lesson. So the next lesson we are going to be learning the continue keyword. Okay, see you in the next lesson. Bye. Hey guys, welcome again back to this new series. In this series you'll be learning continue statements in the loop control statements. So what is the continue statement? This statement is used to continue the flow of control. When a continue statement is encountered in a loop, it doesn't terminate the loop, just like the break statement normally cancel the loop. This doesn't break the loop, it doesn't terminate the loop, but rather it will jump the flow of the next. It will jump the flow to the next iteration. Like, okay, I want this loop to skip number 4, number 5, so I apply it at number 3. So once I check if the loop is getting to number 4, then jump this guy and move to the next one. That is what the continue statement does. Okay, so without further ado, let's dive straight to the real world example. So I'm going to go back to my VS Code now, check this out, and comment for the break tag, or we even take it out completely. So I will take this out now. I'll take it out. Then what I need to pass now is continue. Now as you can see, I want to check. So I'm checking. I'm giving a condition to check if this I, which is 0, if this I gets to 4. Once this iteration, that is this plus plus, gets to 4, and this I turns to 4, then we jump through 4 and print for print for 5. We continue at the 5. Once it is 4, we jump this print statement without, like, we jump the statement we want to execute and move on to the next loop. Okay, now let's check this out and see the magic. So I'm going to clear my terminal now. Then I'm going to run the code. As you can see, we have 0, 1, 2, 3. So 4 was unable to perform. Oh, sorry, I did not save this code. So let me save it again. Sorry for that. Let me clear my terminal again. Let me run this. Okay, awesome. So now we have 0, 1, 2, 3. As you can see, we have 3 and we have we have 5. 3, 5, 3, 5. So let me append another number to it. So if the number is equals to 4, or let me check from here. If I is equals to 3, if I is equals to 3 and I is equals to 4. If I is equals to 3 and I is equals to 4, jump it. If I is equals to 3 and I is equals to 4, jump it. So I'm checking if this I is equals to 3 and I is equals to 4, jump it. Or you can change this and to a more easy way, that is, or You can either use or. So let's use the and first and see what we are going to get as the result. So I will run my DAS again. Now as you can see, it's returned the number because it is not the same thing. It's checking if this iteration is coming along with 3 and 4. If I is equals to 3 and like it must, that's the and, it must be 4 and I must be 3. So that's a code error. So I need to pass this and down to the or statement. So if I is equals to 3 or I is equals to what? 4, jump it. So I'm going to clear my cat. I'm going to clear my terminal and run it again. That dot main. Okay, that's dot main dot that. So as you can see, we have from 0 1, so we don't have 3, we don't have 4, and it jumps towards to 5. That is the or statement. Okay, so thank you so much for taking this lesson. Thank you. I really appreciate your efforts, and I hope you get the best out of this basic understanding of that for Flutter projects. Thank you very much. If you have any question, drop it down in the comments area. See you in the next section. Bye. Hey guys, welcome again to the new lessons in the sections, which is that functions or methods, the syntax and its properties. So before we begin, we need to define what function actually is. So what is a function? A function can be defined by providing the name of the function with the appropriate parameter and a return what? A return type of value. A function contains a set of statements which are called the function body. The syntax is given below. Let's but before we dive into the syntax, let's see what makes up a function. So to understand a bit deeper about function, let's take a look at what makes a function a function. So the first one is the return type. It can be any data type, that is void, integer, float, etc., like double, floats and co. So the return type must be matched with the return value of the function, just as we have the void mains that we are using to perform our initialize query. Okay, so the next one is the function name. It should be an appropriate and valid identifier. That is, you should not have the same function name in a two separate pages. You have your function name has to be identified as a unique name, not conflicting with other name. Okay, the next one is the parameter list. It denotes the list of parameters which is necessary when we call a function. That is, parameter is a set of list of denotes is a set of list of arguments that you pass into the function to achieve a better result of your desired solution. Yeah, that is what the parameter does. Okay, so to the next one, which is the return value. The return value is a function that returns a value after the complete of its execution. So you can decide to return a void, you can decide to return an integer, just as it's going to solve your problem. That is what the return value work for. Okay, so this is the syntax altogether. Here is the return type, here is the function name, here is the parameter list, which is separated by comma. Yeah, which is separated by comma. So here we have all what we defined so far. So here is the return value, and if it is a void, you don't have anything. It's going to be what? A return type of void. Okay, so without further ado, let's dive straight to a practical example that we can work with. So I'm going to open my VS Code now. I'm going to open my VS Code and I'm going to click on that project. Okay, so we work on this example. So let me zoom my screen so you can see what we are working on. Okay, take it down. Okay, let me zoom it a bit. Okay, I think this is good enough. Yeah, this is good. Sorry. Oh, Okay, let me take this down a bit. Good. So I'm going to take out this for loop. We don't need that anymore. So over here now, I'm going to make a new declaration of my method, just as we define this now. We want to replicate this same syntax we have here. So first we need to define our return type. So my return type that I want to define here is int. So int the function name, look at it, function name. So function name can be anything. Function name, let's call this your name. Then the next one is what? This bracket. Then we have our parameter in between. Okay, so I'm going to, once my name is defined, your name is defined, then I'm going to introduce the brackets. Then inside the brackets I want to introduce the parameter that I want to accept. Oh, sorry, let's call this your age, since we are returning an integer. So your age, then inside here we are going to have int age. Okay, so after that, what do we have? We have a close, we have an open bracket, and inside the open bracket we have our statement. Then we return the value. Okay, so I'm going to open the bracket now, drop it down. Then inside my bracket here, I'm going to introduce my age. So let me return age. Okay, now I'm returning age. So what we have here is a simple example of what we have here. Return type, integer, function name, your age, which is an integer, then the parameter list, which is this age here. So and here is the return statement. That means we are we're returning our age back. So let's just do this example. Let's work with this first. So my code has been defined. Below now I'm going to print this function. But for me to print this function, I would like to pass this function into a variable. So int final age is equals to your age. So my age, now I can decide to write my age is 15. Okay, so final age, which is 15. Now this method or function is accepting an argument of 15, that is parameter of 15, which is here as age, and we are returning the same age back to final age. So let me now print this guy. Now I'm going to say print final age. So let me take this up so I can run my Dart code. So let me save it now and print this. So Dart main dot. Okay, so as you can see we have 15. So now I want to improve this function now by passing another parameter. So another parameter will not be int, because we are returning an integer, so you have to be mindful of what you are returning. So int new age. So new age plus normal age will give us the right answer, and returning it in an integer. Okay, so here now I'm going to pass new age. So new age will be 5. So now 5 plus 15, that should be 20. So let's check it out. As you can see, we have 20. So this is a return statement for our first method or our first function. So I'm going to define another function now. So let me comment this. Then we are going to define another method or another function. So here we are going to make this a string, or let's make this a void. So since you already have the knowledge on how the parameter type work, which is an integer, you can easily convert it to string from your end and do a proper practical. Okay, so here I'm going to be returning void, that is nothing. So void show note. void show notes. So void show notes is going to be this. So inside here I'm going to what print. This is a what that note. So nothing serious, but for me to show this note, I want these notes to be dynamic. So I'm going to concatenate some other notes coming from the parameter, from the argument down to the dot note here. So this parameter is going to be accepting a string. So string notes. So string notes is going to be passed down to this place. So I don't want this text. I want what? I want notes. Okay, so I concatenate this, and you can also achieve this by passing it this way. It is possible, but if you want to pass string together alongside of your variables, you can do it the way it is like this. Okay, so now we declare this method show notes, and we are passing an argument of notes into the print statement. Okay, so now let's print this note. So I'm going to say show notes. So these notes, I don't want it directly, I want my notes to be here. So string notes is equals to, or let me call this string new note. New note is equals to, this is a new note, then this note is going to be passed down to the method, and this method is going to accept the note and what print it for us. So let me save that now and run this function again. Let's see. As you can see, is working. This is a new note. This is a new note. So now we passed some arguments down to the notes, and it accepts that. So this is how function works, the syntax and the properties. So there are more for you to still learn in the coming lessons. So see you there. Thank you for this one. Bye. Hey guys, welcome again back to this new lesson. In today's video, let me zoom my screen a bit so you can see what I'm doing. Let me take a little zoom. Okay, so in today's video I'm going to be teaching you another method of declaring a function or a method in that outside the main function, and also we are going to be introducing shorthand expression in a method or a function. So the shorthand doesn't have to close with a bracket, you just pass it with a short and arrow. Yeah. Okay, so without further ado, let's do this thing. So the first I'm going to do is to capture all these method I have here. These are the method your age, your your age is a method, and what method we have here? Show notes. So let me take out show notes. So anything I do here, it can also be replicated to age and other aspects of what you want to practice. So let me take out this method out of the main method. So I will take it out of method. So I'm going to declare this method either above the main function or below the main function. It can either run in any location you place it, so it doesn't matter. It can be above or below. Okay, so now we have the show notes above now. So let's run our code and see if it's going to work. Now don't forget, it's outside the main function. Okay, so now I'm going to run this code now. Let me bring up my terminal. Let me use a more pretty terminal. Let me take out this guy. Okay, so this is a git batch. So I'm going to run this now. So that main dot. Okay, now as you can see, it work. As you can see, we run what the same method, the method or function. So this is the notes. It work just as we expected it to work. Okay, so the next thing I want to do now is to convert this method to a shorthand format, because what we just want to do is either print or return. we can either print this guy or we just return it. If it's like for shorthand method to work, it require a single line function. That is, any function that can take just one line, believe me, it's perfect for a shorthand function. But if your function is requiring like 2 line, something like, okay, you have this, this is taking 3 line 1, line 2, and line 3. So once is more than 1 line, shorthand function will not be effective. It won't even work, so don't bother yourself on that. But if it's just a single line or you are just returning something, it's going to work. So let's start with the print. So I'm going to convert this guy to a shorthand function. So I'm going to use this to return the shorthand function. So over here, let me click save, and as you can see, it automatically indents that for me. So here is a shorthand function. So we pass this with an equals to or greater than method to declare that. So with this in combination with method, is automatically a shorthand method. So let me comment that above so you can get what I'm talking about. So here is it, shorts and syntax exactly. Okay, so I'm going to run the show notes now inside the main method, and let's see if it's going to work. Save. Let me clear my history and run it again. That main dot. Okay, let's do this. Now as you can see, it still works. This is a what new note. Let me update this guy to something random. Save. Yeah, as you can see, it's working, like working real time. Now let's say you want to return instead of print. We don't want to print. In the normal function, if you want to return, we're going to do something like this. Let's do this. So instead of printing the notes, we are going to what? Do return. Return what? Return notes. So instead of returning notes, let's return the notes plus something additional. So notes plus well, let's add well to it. So return notes plus well. So we are having a slight issue. A value of type string cannot return a function from the show note because it returned a void. Yes, the problem is we did not declare what this method should return, either dynamic or string or integer or boolean or whatsoever we want it to return. So because it's a void method, so we need to change it from void to what? To string. Okay, so I'm going to pass the string down to the void. I'm going to replace it with this. Okay, as you can see, I replaced the return statement to string. So now we are returning a string. Awesome. So I'm going to save this now, and I'm going to run it. So let's see if this well is going to add to this guy. Okay, so let me clear my terminal. Okay, run this code again. Oh, sorry. Imagine I was actually returning, I'm not printing, so we need to return this this value to a variable so that we can print it. So sorry for that. So I'm going to call this guy out from here. So I'm going to declare a new dynamic variable. So I'm going to make a dynamic variable. So this variable is not just meant for string or neither for number or boolean, just nothing, a standard variable. So I'm going to use var variable anything. So let me call this anything, variable anything. Sorry. Okay, so variable anything, not anything, is anything. Okay, equals to this guy show notes. Okay, so now we are returning the show note value, which is string. I mean this value is string down to this dynamic variable. You can either use dynamic if it's what you want to use, dynamic or var. var is also dynamic. Okay, so I'm going to use variable anything, then show notes is going to pass this note into this place, into this parameter, and the parameter is accepted, then we return the parameter alongside with well. Okay, so now this value is going to be returned to anything. So now let's try to print anything once the value has been returned. Okay, check it out. So save. Now let me clear my terminal, clear, then run this guy again. As you can see, this is blah blah blah, a new word note, and we have well. So the well needs space. Let me add a little space. It's like the space is not good enough. Run it again. As you can see, note plus well. So this is actually working. Now this is for a standard function method where we have the bracket. So I'm going to convert this to a shorthand syntax, and let's see how it's going to look like. So first we take out this guy. Pooh, this guy is gone. Take out this guy and take out return. We don't need to return. So once that is out, then you introduce equals to, greater than, then the notes. So once you have this will automatically speak for this. Yeah, exactly. So once you have this arrow function, you don't need to pass this return because it's automatically returning the value for you. I hope you understand. If you have any question, please drop it in the comments so I can assist you. So I'm gonna take that out. We don't need return. So save this again and let's run this method. Let's see if it's going to work. Okay, so let me clear my terminal again, clear, then run it. As you can see, it's working. So if you don't believe it's working, let me change this to good. Okay, save, run. As you can see, we have good. Now I don't want to use good, I want to pass note 2. So note 2 is going to be dynamic. So to declare dynamic in this place, we're going to have dynamic plus the dynamic variable. So dynamic note 2. Okay, so dynamic note 2 can be anything actually, but make sure it's returning as what, as a string. So plus dynamic note 2. So over here now it says dynamic note 2 expects two arguments as the positioning. So we need to pass the dynamic note 2 into this place. So we already have note 1. So the next node that I want to pass here is variable note 3 or note 2. Any declaration is okay. So note 2. So here will be note 2. So then I want to pass two words, two parameter, two arguments into this method or function. Okay, so we have note 2. So note 2 is going to be introduced down here. Now as you can see, we pass a dynamic words variable. So I actually use dynamic variable in my declaration most time, but it's just necessary for you guys to know how this work. Yeah. Okay, so here we have what variable note 2. So note 2 has been passed. So we are adding note 1 plus note 2, which is going to give us the final result. So save this now, clear my terminal. Okay, let me do the clearing. Oh, sorry, I didn't clear my terminal, but nevertheless it actually works. So we have note 1, which is this guy, and note 2 is this guy. So let me add a space to note 2. We don't have any space yet, so save that now. Now let me run my terminal again. Now as you can see, we have note 2 and we have what, note 1. So this is awesome, and I believe you understand what I just explained. But if you have any question, feel free to ask me. I will definitely reach out to you. Okay, see you in the next lesson. Bye for this one. Bye. Hey guys, welcome back again to this new lesson. So in this lesson you are going to be learning how to differentiate between the required parameter and the optional parameter. So first I'm going to change this type to required parameter. required parameters. Exactly. Okay, so what is required parameter? Required parameter simply means once you declare and you pass your argument, your parameter, what you want these functions to this function or this method to accept. Once you pass it and you try to run this function, anywhere you had this function, you need to pass at least the 2 arguments for this function to run. You know what I mean? If I take out this guy, it's going to require 1 argument to actually work. So without that argument, it's not going to work. So if I return this guy back, it automatically would fix the problem. So in that case, that makes it required what parameter. So the next one I'm going to declare now is optional parameter. So let me declare that optional parameter. So what is optional parameter? It's just a simple like opposite of what we have here. So I'm going to make a clone of this, then I'm going to convert it to the old ways, then later change it back. So in this place we are going to call this get or display age. Let's call this display age. So we don't want our age to be string, we want it to be an integer. So display age is going to pass int value, so int 1 and int 2. Okay, so after we have the int 1 and int 2, what did it say? Cousin not to be returned, and it is not a what nullable type, so we need to pass some data into this place. So what we want to do here is we want to pass old age, new age, send, and we want to pass future age. Future age. Okay, so here now we have old age, new age, future age. So what we want to do is we want to return it so that we can print it, then we add it up together. So we add old age plus new age plus future age together to get the final age, which is the display age. So in case you are running to a kind of underlying danger rent, which is what we have here, kind of a danger, you just read through and it's going to give you an int. It says the body might complete normally, causing a node to be returned because we are returning what an int. It says causing a node to be returned, but the return type is potentially non-nullable type. Try adding either a return or true statement at the end. So it just wants us to do something, but let's say this guy is a void. You have no issue. That's why we normally use what void to run main. Okay, but in this case we are returning an integer. So what we return back our value, old age, new age, and the future age. But before we do something like this, what we need to do first is to print. Let's print this guy. So because we are going to be printing everything one by one, so your age is old, your age is new age, your age is future age. So we need to print this guy, and at the end, since we are not returning anything, we convert this guy back to void. So let's change back to void. So we are returning nothing because we are just running a simple demo of the optional positioner parameter. And don't forget, if you are having more than one line like this, we cannot pass it in a shorthand syntax. It will not work. So the only way you have to make this work is the normal function declaration. Okay, so we have this now. This is actually require parameter. So let's save this and let's first of all run this and see if it's going to work. So I'm going to comment this now. then take it down. So above here we have so I'm going to use a general a dynamic variable that can accept anything. So variable old age is equals to 30, variable new age 40, variable future age 50. Awesome. Okay, now at the end of the day, I want to accept all age in the variable is equals to, then get what is our method, display what age. So here is going to accept display age. So display age is going to pass old age, new age, and future age. But if I don't pass this guy, it's going to what cause issue, because it is required method or function at the moment. So we have not converted yet. So I'm going to save this now. Then over here I'm going to what print or age. So oh sorry, we cannot print it. We are what already printing and is a void, so it will not print. We can either run the function directly and display it directly. Okay, so I'm going to save that. I'm gonna save it now. I'm going to run this function. That main dot save run. So here we have your age is 30, your age is 40, your age is what 50. That's fantastic. So if I try to take out this guy, it's not going to work. As you can see, we already have red. So if I run this function now, we have what we have the previous version. So let me try to save this now. It's not even saving. Oh, it actually saved. Let's run it. Let's see the bug. Error. So okay, let me type it. As you can see, something is definitely wrong with the code. So we want to get this bug fixed before something can run. As you can see in my terminal, there's a problem on it. To the position argument expected but too fun, so it say what require argument. So I'm going to go back again and change this to optional. So Ctrl Z. So to make it optional, you can take out this guy, then you go to where you have your method declared over here. So I'm going to add a bracket. Yeah, a bracket, not a curly bracket. This is a curly bracket, so I'll call it braces, but this is mainly bracket. So we had a bracket. Okay, so once you have the bracket, it's optional, but it's not fully optional yet. As you can see, I'm running that 2.15.1, which accept no safety. So no safety is another level. So for this function to run smoothly, we need to pass no safety. As you can see, if I check this out now, it says the parameter new age can't have a value of nil because it's type, yeah, but the implicit default value is nil. Try adding either an explicit or non-value default value or the required. So it says we need to at least pass this as a nullable value. So if it is null, the value is going to return null in our print statement. So to achieve what that is saying, we need to pass a question mark 1 and question mark 2. Then this question mark is going to check if this guy is passing data. So if it's not passing data, this question mark is going to convert to what? To null. I mean empty. It's going to convert to null, which represents empty. Okay, so that is for that. I'll save this now. Let's check our code. As you can see, we have no more errors. So as you can see now, we have what? No value of new age and future. Save this now and let's run our code. Main. As you can see, your age is 30, your age is null, your age is what? Null. That is amazing. That is fantastic. So now let's try to return something. Yeah, we can try to return the number or something. Yeah. if we try to return not value, it will not add, so that will not be proper on a single line. But the first one, old age, is going to run. Okay, so let's for now let's stop here so you can buckle yourself on how this work. So I will advise you to watch this video twice or 3 times. Okay, see you in the next lesson. I hope you enjoyed this one. If you have any question related to this new syntax, you can comment in the comment section below, please. Okay, see you in the next lesson. Bye. Hey guys, welcome back again to this new lesson. In this lesson, what are you going to be learning? We are going to be learning named argument. Let me type that. Named argument. Exactly. So with name arguments is going to be a new different types of declaration. Yeah, you need different type of declaration. So what is just different is here we have brackets as these guys, but this bracket doesn't mean we are passing it as a name. It just shows that it is null, but it is not named argument. So in this case, we are going to be changing this bracket to curly braces, but some people call it curly brackets. So we are going to change it to that, and we still pass the same null checking. Yeah, something like this, the same thing. But what's so special about the name argument is you can pass it anywhere. You can either brings age to the first argument, just makes the positioning, so it doesn't matter where you position the value is going to see the value without crashing. But in this case, with this version that we have currently, I mean this same version, you must pass note 1 answer to note 1 parameter. I mean the position, like what we have here, the first one, the second one. So you can't take second answer to the first answer, it will not work. So it has to be the exact same position for this to work. But in named arguments, you don't need to think of where the positioning of the value is going to. Once you have the name, you just pass the data, it's going to automatically accept it. Okay, so without further ado, let's run into the example. So I'm going to clone what we have here, so to make our work faster. We are still going to be running with void because we are only printing, we are not returning anything. Okay, so display age, let's call this display age age 3, or let's do something new, show age. I think this is more better. We don't really have show notes, so here we have show age. So as show age, we have something like this, which tells null safety. So in this case, I'm going to pass this guy without null safety to declare what we have there. So I'm going to pass this to named argument. Named argument. So named arguments require null checking, so we need to pass it. So I guess the new version of that require that. So here now we have the old age. So I want everything to be named, not just this guy. I mean everything absolutely to be named argument. So the next one will be old age. So we have new age, future age, and old age. Okay, now as you can see, the placement, new age, future age, old age. I can take old age answer to new age, it's still gonna see it. Future age. Okay, so let's do the example. Save. So copy show age method. So let me override with what we have here. Show age. So as you can see, it automatically detect that. So show age is going to go for old age, so that you will have full knowledge. Let me delete this. It's like we have the same name. Let me change the name. New. Let me just call this N F O. Okay, this one will be O. This one will be N, so you have full knowledge F. Okay, so new future old. Okay, so now as you can see we have NFO. So what I'm going to do to declare for future, I'm going to pass F, then I'm going to make the declaration. F is the name. Can you see? If this is called foo, so it has to be foo over here. It has to be foo, as you can see, foo. So just anything you declare, not so it doesn't matter about the F that I had. Okay, so future age, now we have future age declared. So the next one I want to declare N, new age, and old age. So save this and let's run this method. Let's see if it's going to work for our named argument. Okay, as you can see, it's working. And for named arguments, it also supports null safety. So because we have null safety check, we can run this without passing the entire data. Okay, save, check it out again. As you can see, future age, which is the last that we have on our print, is what's working. So now let me return this guy back and try to split this so you understand what I explained then. So it doesn't matter where you add these things, it's going to work. And I'm splitting it. I want old age to be in the first. Old age being the first. So we have O as the first. As you can see, we have N as the first here. And we have F as second. And here we have N as second. So it doesn't matter where you pass it. It's still going to work. Can you see? It works. And if I take out the rest, it's a null safety checker. So it's going to work. Let's see. Can you see? We have 30, we have new, and we have new. So no value is now passed. And our named arguments are successfully run. Thank you so much for this lesson. If you have any question regarding this new lesson we just treat, comment below and I will definitely assist you in achieving that. Thank you so much for this lesson. See you in the next one. Hey guys, welcome back again to this new lesson. In this lesson you are going to be learning how to pass default value for the parameters, like any parameters, either this guy or this guy or this guy or this guy. So just as I'm passing it in any one here, you can also do the same for the rest. Okay, so before I do that, I'm going to show you a new example. So let me declare a new method. A new method show all data. So show all data is going to have a comment of default words, optional default parameter. So in case you want to pass some default parameter, not just for optional, you can pass it for like any of it. Okay, so let's start with the simple function. So I'm going to be converting this to simple function N, function F, and function O. So this is a standard variable, dynamic. Can you see it's automatically dynamic because I did not pass anything at the beginning here like int, string, or whatever. So this is standard dynamic variable, so you can also use that. So I save it now. I copy show all data. So let me take out this guy. So show all data is going to pass old age, new age, and future age to the required parameter NFO exactly. Okay, so I'm going to save this now. Run main.dat. As you can see, we have the data 50, 30, and 40. Okay, so now I don't want to pass these two guys in this place. So if I don't want to pass it in this kind of format, meanwhile it's not required. So let's first do the first testing if it's going to work, and if it doesn't work, we introduce our optional optional method, because I'm going to call f. I'm going to give it a default parameter or default value of let's call this 2, default value of 2, and here default value of 3. We save that. As you can see, it does not work, so we need to introduce this optional parameter. So since this doesn't work for a standard function that you need to pass, so we need to introduce our null checking. If it is null, then do this and do that. So something like this, what we have here. Okay, so because we are passing some value, we don't need to pass this null checking, but what we just need to pass is this brackets that showcase that this guy is optional. It's not really important for you to pass it, but this first one is damn important. So I'm going to save this now. So if we did not pass any value for f, we're going to get 2, and also for 3. So I save that now. So f and 0 is above, so let me put it together, while n is below. Okay, so now we have old age, so the rest is passing default value. Can you see? So let's see if the default value is going to work. Okay, it's actually work. So now we are pushing that to default value, but if you pass this data, default value is not required. So we have all this. Sorry, we take out this guy. It's not a name, it's a standard function, not a name function. So I save it. So this will override the default value. Can you see? It work. So this same functionality can be passed to null checking. I mean, what we have here, you can actually pass it down there. So let me take out this guy. Take out this guy. Display age. Let's run display age. Display age. Okay, let's pass this display age, which is this guy. Okay, so let's run it. As you can see, 30, 40, and 50. But if we did not pass new age and future age, it's going to show null, right? Okay, save. So let's pass it now. We have what? No. But instead of showing null, we can actually pass a default value and also the null checking. So default value is going to be 3, and default value for future is going to be 5. Okay, so save it. So instead of having null, you're going to get 5 and 3. Awesome, amazing. Okay, so we can also do the same thing for the name argument. So I'm going to copy this show age now. Copy show age and replace it with display age. Okay, so display age is going to pass old age value, just old age alone. Sorry, imagine I'm only passing old age, not knowing it is actually named argument. So I need to pass either n or f or o. Yeah, so I need to pass either n, f or o. So I'm going to pass f, which is the future age. Okay, so future age is equals to this. So let me pass. So it doesn't matter what you pass. So just to make it fun, I'm going to pass future age, but doesn't matter. Okay, so future age forward for future age, and the rest is not being passed. And don't forget, no default what value. So if you run this now, you should have what now. So let's see. Let me run this function now. As you can see, we have no. Awesome. Now I'm going to pass a default value for the rest, except the elf that we are using. So default value for n should be 4. Default value for o should be 8. So if we did not pass anything, we should have what the default value displayed for us. Okay, run. Can you see 8 and 4, and what the new one's 50? So if I pass this data now, we should have an overwritten data. So it's going to overwrite what we have. I mean, the default value is going to be overwritten without any issue. Okay, so I hope you get a lot of knowledge from this short section. Yeah, I believe that. So if you have any question regarding all this, the named arguments, optional arguments, blah blah blah, default value and co, kindly drop it in the comment section. Then I will definitely do my best to help you achieve that, to help you understand it. Okay, bye for now. See you in the next section, because this section is closed. We are moving to the next one. Bye. Hey guys, welcome back again to this new section. In this section, you are going to be learning exception handling in Dart programming language. Okay, so before I proceed to the real world example, so we're going to learn the theory part of exception handling, the types of exception in Dart, and the definition. So first we have the definition of an exception. So an exception is an error that takes place inside the program. That is, you try to run some code and the code is not matching with the other side, so it will automatically crash the system. So when an exception occurs inside a program, the normal flow of the program is disrupted and it terminates abnormally, displaying the error and exception stack as what's output. So it's going to show you what really went wrong. String is not a type of this is not a type of that, so something like that. And again, we have an exception must be taken care of to prevent the application from termination. So once you have an exception, make sure you look into the error, make sure you look into it deeply so you can resolve the issue and it will not come up in your next execution. So what are the built-in exception in that? The built-in exception in that, the first one that we have here is integer division by 0. Sorry, I copy that. Okay, good. Integer division by what? 0 exception. So this is true when a number is divided by 0. So if you divide a number by 0, this will come up and you are going to see that, okay, this line 5 we are making the error. Then you go there and fix it. The next one is IO exception. IO exceptions is based class for all input and output related exceptions. And the next one we have here is deferred loaded exception. Deferred load exception. So this is true when a deferred library fails to load. And the next one we have here is format exception. So this is an exception that is thrown when a string or some other data does not have an expected format and cannot be passed or be processed. So the next one is isolate span exception. So this is true when an isolate cannot be created. The next one is again timeout exception. So this is true when a schedule time happens while waiting for an async result. So with this breakdown of the definition of handling exceptions in Dart, I hope you have the theory part of this section. So the next lesson we are going to work on the real practical. So see you in the next lesson. Bye. Hey guys, welcome back again to this new lesson. In this lesson you are going to be learning how to use the on clause, the catch clause with exception, catch clause with exception object and stack trace, final clause, create our own custom exception. That is what we're going to be doing in this current lesson. So without further ado, let's dive straight to it. So the very first one here, which is on clause. On clause is the usage of the built-in exception in Dart. That is, you make a use of what Dart already has. That is what the on clause is. So let's work with the on clause first and let's see what we have. So I'm going to run what's it called? I'm going to run my function now to use the on clause method. So I'm going to say try integer age is equals to 23 divided by 0. So we have this, but again I'm also going to add some other things, but very first thing, let's run this first. Let's see what we are going to get. So I'm going to print your age is this, then on on the error, which is on integer division by 0 exception. That is the inbuilt exception in that. So let me take out this one. We don't need those ones yet. So now we have what the on integer what division by 0. That is, if there's an issue dividing this number, we're going to what get this print message. But if there's no issue, we're going to get this current message. So let me save it and let me run this code now. As you can see, we have some issue. It says a value type of double cannot be assigned to type of integer. Yeah, that's true, because when we divide this, it's going to return 0 point something. So the reason why I actually leave this is because you might run into this kind of same error. So now if you want to fix this naturally, you can just change this to double. It will fix the error. Sorry, double. Yeah, I guess I got. Okay, this is the correct answer. So with this, you are going to have something great. So I intentionally do that so you have a recall from what we did in the very first lesson. So I'll run this now. As you can see, your age is infinite because the result from here is kind of giving us minus. So once you have minus, it automatically turns to infinite. Now let's now try to interfere to these changes, to these configurations we have here. So let's try to interfere to this, and let's allow this to give an error. So I'm going to be passing a tied symbol. So I'm going to pass in a tied symbol. So once I have this tied symbol, let me try to check if it's going to return an issue, though we have division by 0. So that's to actually be 0. So let me run this if you're going to get it. As you can see, it's not returning because it's not a double. So it has to be an integer for us to use this 0 format. So it's integer division by what? By 0. So I save this now and I'm going to run it. So we should have that. As you can see, can't divide by what? By 0, just as what we have here. So this is called the onClose method. So let me comment it above here. onClose. So this format is onClose. That is, you are using the built-in method, which is what we have here, onClose. So this is for this part. Now the next one we are going to be working with now is, let me check it, check our book, is the word catch clause with exception object. Catch clause with exception object. So in this case, you don't need to pass those built-in function because you can't remember the rest or the particular one you want to use. So with this method is what you're going to use to get what is actually wrong. So I use this method most time. Me personally, I use it most time to do my projects. So I'm going to comment this guy now, then we are going to run the next one. So this one is on class. So the next one will be, let me bring it from Sublime. Okay, catch clause with what? Exception object. So copy and paste it here. So with this format, we are going to what? We are going to use try. So we are going to try the same format of what we tried there. Now as you can see, we tried the same thing. This is the guy here. So we print the age if it's actually correct, but I know this one will give an error because we have a tied symbol. So now once we try this, if there's an issue, then let this guy catch the issue. So once we catch the issue, we can either print something, we either print something custom, or you pass your exception data, that is your text, inside the print area. So but let's print without passing now. Let's see what we're going to get. So I'm going to run this. Now as you can see, can't divide by what? By 0, which is this. So if I pass this exception into it, we should have the full details of what really caused the issue, why it's not passing. So if I run this now, as you can see, can't divide by 0, integer what? Division by what? 0 exception. So you already know that, okay, this thing is trying to divide itself and is unable to to process. That is why it's not going through. So that is for the catch clause with exception object. So in the next one also we are going to be moving forward to this part, which is this catch clause with exception object and what and stack trace object and stack trace object. So in this format we are going to be passing two parameter to the what to the catch area. So let me show you how to do that. So here now I'm going to what comment this above so you have the full knowledge of what we are doing here. So I'm going to now try, so I'm going to try the same thing that we did over there. So we try this guy. Now as you can see my to completer actually did the completion. So I said we are passing what two parameter to the catch. As you can see now we have the same format in this area now. So here is the what is the exception object, and here is the what stack trace. So this stack trace is going to tell you more details about what really went wrong in the code. So now we are going to run this code now and let's see what we get. So the difference between this one and what we have here is the what is the s. So we pass the stack trace as a parameter to the catch area. So I'm going to save this now. I'm going to run the code. So let's see what we get. Now as you can see it says can't divide by what 0, and it gives us the what the issue integer division by what by 0 exception. And here is our stack trace. So stack trace space, as you can see this is the stack trace space, the what the ID of the stack trace, and it traced it down to line to integers to call it to the core area of the integer processing area, which is that core part. So you don't need to go there. So what you need to focus on is your own part. So as you can see this one is my own part, that project slash what main.dat on line 20. This is line 20 and column 18. So this is column 18. So it says there's an issue in this line, in this column. So I know okay something is really wrong in this place. As you can see I'm in this column area. So that is how you can use the stack trace to trace the particular line and the particular column of where you are having issue with. So that is for the what the catch clause with exception objects and what and stack trace objects. Awesome. So now let's comment this out now and move to the next one. So control forward. Okay, so to the next one, which is what final clause. Yeah, final clause. So if there's an issue with the first and the second return, the catch return, so you can still use final to run your code, which is a lifesaver. It's really save a lot of stress. So now let's work with the final clause. So I'm going to do this again. So we use the same example. So try integer the same example we have been using so far, and here is the catch. So this time around you can decide to pass s, which is the stack trace, but if you don't want to pass that, you can just leave it the way it is. So what catch, which is the object e, the exception itself. So we have the exception defined for us here. So if you run this code, if there's an issue, this catch is going to work. Yes, it's going to run, and this guy is going to run at the end of it. That it is going to say, okay, finally this is what is going to come up if there's an issue, and if there's no issue, we have our your age is this. So let's first try to take out this guy. Let's take out this guy and convert this guy to double, or let's convert this to 22. Yeah, 22 divided by 2. Then let's convert this to double. I just want something. I want to show you something so you see what we have. So this should give us 12. So this should give us 12. So let's see if you try to run this. If this doesn't actually run, will this run? So we want to see if this guy is going to run if the first one worked. So now let me clear my terminal and let's run the code. So clear, we run that.main. As you can see, we have what your age is 11.0, which is double, and the catch does not catch any error because the code doesn't have any issue. And finally is executed. So if there's an issue, this guy will run and this guy will still run. If there's no issue, this guy will run and this guy will still will still move forward. It will still run and check. If there is no issue or there's an issue, it will execute at the final area. Okay, so that is for that. So let me convert this again to the tide. Let me add a tide symbol, and here I'm going to change it to integer, so we have similar example of the above. So I'm going to save this now. So we should have this error and this guy should also execute. So let's do this now. That.main. As you can see, oh sorry, I did not save this. I should save this. So Ctrl S. Oh sorry, let me convert this to 0 because it's trying to divide it. So let me convert this to 0. Now let me run it again. So as you can see, it says can't divide by what? By 0. Integer division by what? By 0 exception. So as you can see, once there's an issue in this place, so it's not only division of 0 and anything. So if you have any kind of error here, instead of terminating your application, is going to push this error down to a catch area. So you catch it from here and you can finally what? Do something else here. So let's assume you are calling an API from here and the API return error. So you can catch the error from here and tell the final to what? To reload the API once there's a network. So that's how that part work. So as you can see now, our final clause is also what? Executed. Awesome. So I will save this now, and I believe that's the last one. Okay, sorry, we have what we have to create. We also have create our own custom exception. So I'm go back to the code. I'm going to comment this area so we can create our own custom exception. Okay, so I have comment this guy out. So move to the next one. So comment create our own what? Custom exception. So for me to create a new custom exception, I will have to create a class and implement exception into it. I will have to create a class of my own personal exception and implement an exception into it. Then I cannot throw it in a method. Yeah, because I need to throw what I actually created in a method. So to do that, I'm going to first of all create a class. So here will be class my own exception. So my own exception, then my own exception is going to implement what? Exception. So as you can see, it's already added that for me. So once I have this, so this might be confusing to you, so I'm going to make this more simple. So let me delete what we have here so it doesn't confuse you. So my own exception implement. So implement is to tap into what we have in exception and dump it into our home exemption class. So that is what we are doing with the implements of this exception. So we are implementing exception into our own exception. So now I'm going to pass a string of error message into my own class. So that will make it more easy for you to tap into the kind of error is coming from your own exception. So here I'm going to pass a string of a method of error msg error message. So error message is going to return a string of what? Custom exception. So this custom exception can be my own exception is thrown. Yes, my own exception is thrown. So that is for my own custom exception. So by the time I threw any exception using my own exception, so this error message is going to be sent to the catch area. Then I can accept it and display the message to the user. So that's my own custom exception. So after the class has been initialized, I'm also going to declare a method, because you need to have a method that you can throw the issue. So once you throw it from there, then you can catch it from anywhere you are trying to print the message. So yeah, I'm going to have a void because I'm not returning anything. So void tail age. So void tail age. So tail age is going to have this. As you can see, we have a great example here. So variable age is equal to 23. So if age is less than 0, if age is less than 0, that is if age is -1 or something, so let me just change this to 10. So if age is 10, if age is less than 10 rather, then true, my own exception, else your age is what? Your age is this. So I will save this now, and I'm going to run this method of tell age in my main.dat. Then once there is an issue with the age passing, so I can make this age dynamic. So let me make this age dynamic. So let's pass the age from here. So I'm going to have int age. So instead of having it here, we don't have it here, sorry. So int age is what we have. So if the age is less than what? Is less than 10, we throw an issue. But if the age is not less than 10, maybe 11 or so, it's not going to cause any issue. But if the age is less than 10, which is 9 or 7 or 8, then we have an issue. So now let's run this tell age method. So over here, and I'm going to run the function. So we have tell age. So tell age is going to pass let's say 20. So 20 is not actually less than 10, so we should have something great to be displayed to us, which is what? Your age is this. So your age is 20. Okay, so I'm going to run this this guy, and as you can see, we have what? Your age is 20, which is amazing. So now I'm going to pass 9 here, so which is less than 10. And as you can see, we have what? If it's less than 10, throw my own what? Exception. Okay, so save this now, that I'm going to run this guy again. As you can see, it says, oh, unhandled exception, instance of my own exception. Sorry, I think we have an issue. So let me check what is causing that. So my own exception, yes, my own exception, yes, we have it here. So what we need to do is to pass this guy in a try, in a try and catch. So that is what I'm talking about. As you can see, the code is correct, everything is all right. So it is in a catch area. We're going to tap into this error message. What we have here is absolutely fine. So in case you run into the same issue, just know your code is awesome, and you need to just to pass it into try and catch the issue, then you print it to the user. Okay, so I'm going to run this now. Try. What am I trying? Try this method. So if anything come up from this method, then true is going to automatically throw this issue if it's less than what? 10, which is 9 automatically. So it's going to throw the issue, and once the issue has been thrown, then I'm going to catch it from here. So if I catch it, I'm going to have to point to my method from the error area. So to point to my method from the error area, I will need to concatenate in this section. So I will need to concatenate here. So I'm going to say variable sorry, we should have it this way. So error message, I guess. Yeah, I think I'm correct. So error message, I think, is the method. So let's run it as a method. Oh, that is not coming up. Let's do it this way. Oh, I think it's working now. Yeah. So the reason why I need to pass this brackets, in JavaScript, we do it this way in JavaScript. In JavaScript, do it this way. So JavaScript method is just flaunting into my head. And so now this guy now is tapping into this thrown error that we threw here, my own exception. So my own exception is thrown, which is error message method inside my own exception. So this guy here is my own exception. Then from my own exception, I need to tap into this object of what? Error message. So let's see if it's going to work, and let's debug the issue, if there's an issue or if there's an error. So we have tried this guy and catch the error, then print it to us. So let's run this code and let's see what we have. And at the end, we can pass a final. Area. So here is going to tell you, okay, the code finally was executes. So you know something works with your code. Okay, so let me run this code again. Let me first clear my terminal. My terminal is cleared. Run the that.main. As you can see, Can't divide by 0. Instance of my own exception. Error dot msg. Oh, that's an issue. So let me pass this directly without concatenating. So I believe my concatenation was a little bit messy there. So error message should come here. So this is correct. Actually, let me copy it again. Return. Yeah, we have it, but yet we are still having issue. So I think we need to tap into their own error message method. So let me tap into their own error message method. So I'm going to call this error, then capital letter M message. So error message, I need to tap into their own. I think we need to override it. So error message. So let me copy this down and pass it here. So let's debug this thing with ourselves. Let's see what is causing the issue. So I save this now, and we still get this issue of method error message is not defined. Okay. What could be causing this? Let me run it again. Okay, you still have the same issue. So let me go into it and come back again. Let me pause this video. Hey guys, we have finally solved that. As you can see, the issue that we faced the last time was because we did not override the implement of toString. So this is what we have in the previous example that I gave you, that we have an issue. So we have something like this, and I try to access this error like this. Okay, as you can see, is what is giving error because it's not defined in exception class. So to solve this issue, I now have to pass an override to toString. So this toString is a method in exception class, so which I override, and I return the error, this method error we have into it. So after doing that, and we have the custom error message that we thrown from there. Okay, so now let's run this now. Let me save it and point to string. So instead of pointing to error method that we have here, we're going to point to string that we override. Okay, so to string, as you can see, it gives no error. Then let's now try to concatenate that. So I'm concatenate it now. I'm going to say can't be divided by what? By 0, and this thing is caused by this. So this is going to what? Output the error. As you can see, this is amazing. It really makes sense. So we have the class of exception, then we override exception method of toString, then we return our method to it. So we're going to run this method again that through the exception, and we have this this error down for us. Okay, so let me save this now and run the code. Now as you can see, it's actually work. My own exception is thrown, and what final clause is executed. Wow. So I hope you learned something from this lesson. I hope you enjoy it. If you have any issue or any question, comment below, and I will definitely attend to you. Thank you so much for your time. See you in the next lesson. Bye. Hey guys, welcome again to this next section. In this section, you'll be learning about object-oriented programming. That is an object-oriented programming language that supports the concept of class, objects, interface, inheritance, mixing, and abstract classes. In that, a class can be defined as a blueprint or a prototype of associated objects. A class is a wrapper that binds and encapsulates the data and the methods together, which can be later accessed by objects of that class. We can think of a class as a user-defined data type, like your name is Kunle. So Kunle has what as a very big very big car, has a very big house, something like that. So you are the class, and other properties that you have is your user defined data that can be accessed anywhere you go to. Either you go to the bank, you go to market, wherever you are going to, they see your data, the clothes you put on, your shoe and co. So that is what a class represents. Okay, so that's been described, the behavior and the characteristics shared by all of it what instance. Just as I've explained, you as a class having all your properties defined already in you. Okay, so once a class has been defined, we can create instance or objects of that class which has access to the class property and the method. You see, this part is absolutely the greatest part of everything. So once you have defined your class, blah blah blah, do your methods, school properties, once you are done creating everything, now you enter a new environment entirely. So you want to you want to distribute what you have done so far, you want to share it, you want people to see it, then you make an instance of the class, then you start getting access to the properties and the methods. So this part now we are going to make an example, and we are going to make an instance of our class. Then we have access to to the properties and to the methods. So without further ado, let's dive straight to the main example. So I'm going to go to my VS Code now, and over here I'm going to move out of the main method which we have here. So okay, so I'm going to declare a new class here now. So I'm going to call this class my name. So class IODG. Class IODG. So what does IODG have in common? So IODG have name. So I have a name, and should I use? I don't want to use their suggestion. I have a name. Sorry, I have a name, and the next one is string. String. What should I put? Phone. String phone. I have a name, I have a phone number, and my car. Okay, so I think this is good enough. So the next one I'm gonna do now is to add a method. Yeah, that is what we mentioned the last time. So I'll create a void method that is going to print, so I'm not returning anything in the void method. So this one will be display data. So display data is basically going to print what we have above. So print this name, this phone, this car. So to make it more accessible, so I need to pass this as a this. I have to point it as a this, but to point it as a this, if it's just a single name this way, is actually great. But sometimes you might want to define your own personal name in your method, so it might crash the above class name that you already have. So it's just best we do it this way. So I'm going to convert this to an advanced concatenation. So here we are going to have this dot name. As you can see, this dot name is more professional than that. So I will use this format. I'll use the same for year. And also here I'll use the same for year too. Now as you can see, now we have a proper concatenation of our this dot name, this dot phone, this dot car. So once we have this in place, the next thing we need to do is to fix this error. As you can see, we are having an error here. It's underlined. It says a non-nullable instance field name must be what initialized. So he said I should try adding late to my to my property. So if I actually had this late, let me try to do this fixing so you see what I'm talking about. So if I had this late, so it might solve the problem, but I wouldn't want to do that. So I would prefer to just point it as a nullable data. So instead of pointing as a late data, so once it's nullable, is going to pass null data, just as we normally do it in the first example that we did previous time. So I'll pass it as a nullable data. So if there's nothing there, it's going to show as a null, else if there's something there is going to actually print the data. So I will save this now. So we have defined our property name, property phone, property car, and we are accessing it inside our method. Method what? Display data. Method display data. Method can also be function. So just as we have it here, this one is what is the main method, our main function. So there is no big deal about that. So let's now try to display this data as we have stated in the example. So inside this main, I'm going to declare a new variable. So this variable is going to be user data. So it can be anything. Don't think of something big. So it can be anything that I'm going to instantiate this class higherDG. I'm going to make an instance of it. So to make an instance of higherDG class, it's going to be new higherDG. New higherDG. So once I have something like this, I have make an instance of higherDG class. Now we have the ability to access everything in this class, like everything. Okay, so I'm going to be passing my real name in the first data. So to pass your data to this first property that we have here is very simple. So user data represents higherDG. So higherDG.name, this name. So this name will see this guy here. So I'm setting the value, and the next one age 20. Is it age? Sorry, we don't have age, we have phone. So I'm going to, as you can see, it's having age because there's no age there. So phone number 0703488 blah blah blah. So this is my phone. Sorry, this is not actually correct. If you are trying to call me, if you are trying to call the number, so 07034803384 is actually the correct one. Okay, for international use. Okay, so let me just pass this here. +234 07034803384. So that's the phone number that I use, and it's actually real. So the next one is car, not email. So I'm going to call this car. So we have a car. So the car is what? Lexus 350. So Lexus 350 is the car. So we have that. So our data is completed. Phone number, name, car, Lexus 350, and the next thing we need to now call is display data. Now after we pass this data into higherDG, so we now need to display it. So I'm going to do comment display our data. Display our data. So I'm going to call this method, and it's going to do this. So it's going to work because it's a void method, so you can actually print. So I'm going to refer to user data dot display data. Exactly. So as you can see, display data is working. So we call display data method or a function. So once we run this code now, we should have something great on our screen. Okay, so let's run this dot main. As you can see, it's actually work. So this is it. Name is higherDG. Phone number is this. Car that I'm currently using, Lexus 350. This is awesome. This is awesome. Sorry, let me go back to the terminal. Okay, so that is how you can, as you can see, it's very simple, extremely simple. So you define your class, you define your method, your property, what you really have. So with this, you can actually build a greater application. So let me add another method that is going to do some calculation. So we pass something into it. So I'm going to have another method of dynamic data. So let me call this dynamic, so we don't have issue about this one is not working, this one is not going. So dynamic calculate age, or calculate number. Let's call it calculate number. So what number are we calculating? So we are calculating two number. So let's just make everything dynamic. We're not passing another passing in data type, so everything will be dynamic. So if I pass something like this, if I pass dynamic number one and dynamic number 2, so if I pass something like this, it's still the same thing. It's still the same by saying empty data type. If you don't pass anything, it's going to be seen as dynamic. If I hover, and as you can see, it's going to be seen dynamic. So you don't need to pass. Once it's dynamic, you don't pass anything. The same applies to this one. If I don't pass anything, it will see it as dynamic. As you can see, it's dynamic. So you can actually leave it this way, but I'll just pass dynamic so that you have a full knowledge. But this one, I won't pass anything. Okay, so dynamic calculates number. So number 1 and number 2. So once number comes to this place, we're going to return it. And once we return, we want to print it from the main method area. So I'm going to copy this name. I will copy this name. So just to see that you can do more things. So here will be calculate number. So what number are we calculating? We are calculating 2 number, but the 2 number we are calculating, let's save it in a variable. So variable age result. Variable age result is equals to this. Then in age results, as you can see, we are returning it. So we return this data to what age results. So here we are going to pass number 1 and number 2. So here I will have another variable num1 is equals to 10, and variable num2 is equals to 20. So this num1 and num2, I'm going to pass it here. So here will now be num1 comma then num2. Now as you can see, I pass num1 and num2 into age results. So if I print this now, we should have I should have the example. We should have the final result, but what we have is not really good. So let me just do manual printing. So print age results. That's enough. Okay, so just to show you how you can achieve more things with a class. Okay, so we have age result here. So we should get 30. So let me now run this code again. Let me clear what we have. Clear. Okay, run. As you can see, I have 30. So that is how class and objects works. So it's extremely simple. So I hope with this short lesson you have the full knowledge of how class and method work and how you can define your own dynamic method. Okay, so let's end it here and you continue to the next level in the next lesson. Okay, so thank you so much for your time. Thank you for taking your time to watch this. Bye bye. Hey guys, thank you for checking that out. For the full course videos, you can get it on akskill.com, where you have the full content for the lessons, and this is going to be of a great value to you. Oh yes, it's going to be of a great value to you. So once again, thank you for checking that out. See you in the course. Bye.